This is why I don't know things. But I'm serious about this backing up shit. It's got to end. Pull into the fucking parking space.
I've eye rolled a lot over my.
This episode is made possible by our therapy partners who don't back into parking spaces.
Boom.
Dirty B, Myra, and Pickett from fabulous Las Vegas. This is Pod Therapy. Real people, real problems, and real therapists. You can submit your questions anonymously at podtherapy.net or email us at podtherapyguys@gmail.com. Taylor Swift is not here tonight.
You checked?
No, I guess that's just something you have to announce.
Oh,
now
yeah. It's right off the top of the board. Well, we just lost all of our viewers.
And now, broadcasting from the churn, that is Dr. Jim. That's Whitney. I'm Nick. It's time for some Pod Therapy.
You want to hear about Nick's blood work? Patreon.com/therapy. Find out how our buddies
Or
do
puppies pooping.
Or puppies, or the horrible truth of what Jacob has done that I have not even commented on because I am so fucking stunned.
I have learned, though, that there's a level of mess that is worth cleaning up and a level of mess that's worth buying a new blanket.
Yeah, that's correct.
Oh, yeah.
That's correct.
I'm
surprised you didn't go with the towel move, man.
Trash.
You put a beach towel in the little crate, and that way you can just toss that in the wash.
So I've had like a couple. So this is going back to hey everybody. This is we're continuing from Patreon. My dog had some.
Mark
diarrhea.
your bingo squares.
But anyway, no. So there was anyway. I usually just have cheap blankets, and then at that point I threw some away. So then I went to so I usually make blankets. This is the dog blankets that I have. I've made.
You knit?
Nick and all.
No, I don't knit. I don't knit. But here's what I do: is I'll get like
in my mind,
two fleece. Like I'll go to like a fabric store, you know, and I'll get like two.
You tie
fleeces.
them together at the end.
Exactly. Yep.
That's so Midwest.
I cut them, and then I make little knots all the way around.
Oh,
so
with little tassels?
double-sided.
Oh my God, it's so precious.
So that's what I've done for my dogs. Those are the dog
cozy
blankets.
too.
Right?
That is adorable.
So funny.
And so then I went to
Joann's Fabrics.
Why do that instead of like a cheap towel or something?
Because I don't know.
They deserve luxury.
Yeah.
You just like burning those calories.
I do.
Okay.
It's therapeutic.
I want to see him tying tassels together.
So then I went to where was I going? Michael's. So I'm like, okay, well I need to get some.
Hell, if you don't change your ways.
So I went to I went to Michael's because I wasn't going to go to Hobby Lobby.
Yeah, I was like, don't go to Hobby Lobby.
That's where I always used to get it.
Oh,
so you gave up religion?
Yeah. So then I don't go there. But then I
That's where
find
you
out
always
that
used to get it. By
Michael's,
it, he means BJ's in the bathroom.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
Get it. Get it.
Yeah.
The Hobby Lobby glory hole?
Yeah. It's the best one in town.
on your Nobby Lobby?
Best one in town.
So
it used to be on the B's already.
So I
This is the best idea we've ever had.
Michael's, apparently they don't sell fabric.
Hobby Lobby glory hole.
So I couldn't. Yeah, they don't sell fabric.
No, they don't sell
Michael's.
fabric.
They call
sell
it the
crafts.
Hobby Nobby.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's the slobby nobby.
Yeah. Slobby Nobby.
They're going to go for a while.
Yeah.
They're going to be going for a while.
That's the whole episode title. End of show.
The whole episode. The glory
Oh
hole
my
episode
God.
title.
Here we go.
No, here's the thing.
The jokes don't get better.
Okay.
They do get
Why do you go to
louder.
like
All of
Walmart?
them.
I know we're getting off topic.
Not at all.
No.
But this
Oh,
is the
getting
thing
off
where
involved.
we're going.
No, this is the thing that Jim later is going to say, like, hey, guys, we need to clean up the show.
Yeah, I know. He will. But he's just not going to be on.
Yeah.
Wait, are we recording? The mic's on?
I forgot to ask
Shit.
that next episode 300. How many times has Jim said we need to clean up the
Oh,
show?
no. It's so many.
multiple.
There's a
limit-
square
the
for that
limit
on
does
bingo
not exist.
somewhere. Also, I've hyperlinked the Jim's Neurotic Bingo in the episode descriptions now on a regular
fun.
show if you'd like that. So
I'm
yeah,
fine.
Bingo. You can do that.
No.
All right. I have
Jacob
one more
can.
rant. Target gift cards.
Whoa, wait, hold on. We
Fuck
didn't hear
these
the end of.
things.
We didn't hear the end of Nick's.
Yeah, did he go to
blanket
Hobby
making.
Lobby?
Anyway,
Oh, yeah, you made blankets.
I
yeah.
didn't make blankets.
Go on.
I ended up going to PetSmart to look for blankets there.
Okay.
They didn't have any, so
You
then
need
I
to go to the
went.
thrift shop.
I should have done that.
Oh, like just get like an old quilt or something.
So I ended up going
Yeah.
to Target, and they had these
Oh.
really super soft blankets.
Yeah.
And then so I was like, okay, well, I can get the twin size, but it's like, oh, but if I get the queen,
Can cut it
just
up.
pile it up.
Aw.
And then
yeah.
I go super soft.
I was thinking you could make multiple
Right?
ones,
Yeah.
but you're like, no, just give them all.
But now the blankets are too nice for the dogs.
Yep.
Instead of Laura's getting in there.
Laura's like, give me that blanket.
That's a thing.
She's like, thanks, babe.
like,
You're like,
oh, man.
that was
But
for the dogs.
I did give them to the
Dude,
dogs. They
crappy
love them.
towels. Go get crappy towels from the dollar store, man.
No, I have Yeah, I've got some, but those aren't
Don't
soft
do that.
enough.
Do you
They're soft enough to shit on, I promise
Okay, hold
you.
on. Jim, who says his dog has itchy skin, is like,
Yeah.
get the shitty dollar store towels. I'm like, what do you think is itching
figuring it
his
out.
Connecting
skin?
some dots.
Get the towel sprayed with pesticides.
Yeah.
Get those. Those are good.
Get the asbestos.
Yes.
liners.
You don't know what is on those chemical
No,
wise.
here's what you need. Owens Corning.
Yeah.
Just go,
That's fine.
Get a bunch of pink insulation.
She'll be good.
The dog will love it.
Yeah.
There's
Nice
a
and dry.
spot in town where you get an 8x10 sheet of steel wool.
That's what you want. I don't know what's wrong with this dog. She'll be fine. All right, real quick. Fuck you, Target. Sponsor the show. But not in gift cards. Have you guys used a Target gift card recently?
Not recently.
Tried to use
But I
one.
usually get
I
them.
hardly ever go to Target.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I bet I go to Target twice a year.
I go to Target once a week.
Not really
See,
on
here's the
purpose
thing,
or
though.
anything, but
Yeah.
like I
Without
just don't get.
miss.
No, I know what it is. It's the success of Pod Therapy where Jacob has lost touch with the common man.
This
That's
is
what
true.
it is.
This is
Yeah.
100%
I couldn't tell you what a
true.
gallon of milk costs
Yeah.
these days.
I don't know.
Really, I don't know.
Do they sell
He's
it at
like,
Louis
I don't
Vuitton?
drink
What is it,
milk.
No,
like 20
Then
bucks?
I don't fucking know.
Yeah, it's like 2025.
He's like George H.W. Bush or whatever
Right.
at the fucking grocery store. What is this? It's a cash register, sir. My God.
I was like, who was? Oh, it was Trump that said you needed ID to buy bread.
Yeah.
right.
You need ID to buy bread, don't you? What?
There's no
What,
like, voting
sir?
ID laws. And he was like, you got to have ID to buy bread.
That's facts.
Anyway, fuck you, Target. No, they have these
Wait,
terrible
what's the
gift
deal?
cards. So they do not swipes. They don't have the mag stripe thing.
Okay.
So you have a little barcode on the back that needs to be scanned.
Okay.
Problem, it's next to the other barcode that you use to purchase the fucking gift card.
Okay.
So when you go to shove it under the thingy and say, scan this, it goes, great.
How
much
much?
money would you like to put on this gift card? And you're like, no, fuck you. It is already loaded.
Yeah.
You should somehow be able to differentiate those two.
Is this
So then
only
you have to
self-checkout?
cover up the other barcode.
Right.
Which
so
would
it
be a
can
simple
see the little-
solution.
No,
Yeah.
you shouldn't have to fucking do this. You don't have to do this at Walmart. So then once you scan it in, it goes, okay, we can see that you have a gift card. What's the access code? So now you have to fucking scratch off this paint shit on the back.
Oh my
Yeah.
God!
It's a 12-digit access code
Oh,
that you have
okay.
to hand fucking type into the machine.
Does
I
this-
don't fucking work there,
Does
Target.
this happen?
This is
Hold on,
bullshit.
hold on,
Can't
hold on,
swipe
hold on.
it?
Back up,
No,
Jimmy.
you can't
Back up, Jimmy.
swipe it.
Hold on, Jimmy. Back up.
Jimmy
Is
Jovin.
this
how he
is this
suits
a
me.
is this a thing where you're at a self checkout?
Yes.
Does the same process have to happen if you go to a normal checkout?
You know they don't let you do that anymore.
I don't, because I don't go to Target.
They usually have like one lane open and there's like 85 old people in it.
No, I'm sincerely asking the question.
okay.
Is it easier if you go through a line that has
Probably.
the cashier?
I'll bet you that person hates their life because they have to pump all this in.
I feel like for all of your problems, there's a solution that presents itself within
Yeah.
5 seconds.
Usually. Yeah. And usually Jacob finds it. Then I'm fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
There's the lights.
been
All right. All right. Well, Target, we're cool now. I think that I'm good.
I was talking to a friend this week. I just got back from Arizona today.
And boy, are his arms tired.
No, I drove. I mean, my butt's a little sore just from being at the truck for
Boy, is his ass tired.
4 hours and 15 minutes or so. But yeah,
he
I
came
guess
back from Hobby Lobby?
He had listened. My buddy had listened to Pod Therapy and had heard the life coach theme.
Okay.
And he was like, "Do you really flash the lights in the room?" And you do it, I was like, every time.
Every time.
100% of the
goddamn
time.
time.
I don't think that the jingles
just for
ever
us.
play. The only time the jingle has ever played and the lights did not flash was at Scoop Fest during the trivia Kanye West battle with
When I didn't have
yeah.
control over the lights.
when you did not, you could not because we were in a gigantic conference room.
Yeah.
And people would have crashed into shit when we shut off the lights. That, by the way, was the most epic fucking move ever. Whenever you walked
What was?
on and we turned on that music because nobody saw that shit coming. Because remember, you had loaded it on the iPad and told us about it.
yeah, that's right. I forgot
The girls didn't know it was going to happen. The moderator, Mikey, didn't know it was going to happen. And just everybody fucking lost it. And then you walked up, gave us the wrong answer, and then walked off the fucking stage.
Yeah.
Boom.
Which is pretty much it. Yeah, that's what it is.
Did his job and left.
Got life
Yep.
coached. Yeah,
Yep.
that was it. And then we played him off.
Yeah.
He just walked off after
Thank
we
you very
lost.
much.
Thanks. Great answer. Patreon.com/therapy. Go check out all the extra funsies, all sorts of good stuff.
I listened to
in this
your
one.
300 reminiscent episode.
Oh, did you?
I did.
Wow, that's a long one to get through. But it's about you. And it's funny because I was
lot
going
of
to
it
text you. It was. I was going to text you and be like, hey, man, I know you probably don't listen to my shit. This one's about you a lot and us and like old memories of the show. So memories. Do you remember all those fun things I talked about in there?
On
Though?
the chest
Yeah,
of
but
that
you were wrong about
lady.
some of it.
I had a feeling I was. Yeah. There were several things that I thought back and I was like, wait, is that the order of events? One thing that I know I got wrong in the recording, we linked up with Jacob before Scoop Fest.
Yes.
And in the recording I said that we got
that
with
true?
Jacob.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I thought it was after Scoop Fest.
It
No,
was
it was before.
right
It was
before.
right before.
Yeah.
Oh.
It was the same month, but it was a few
We
weeks
actually,
before.
Okay.
I think we came to an agreement to record here, but I don't think we recorded here until after Scoop Fest.
No,
I don't think
maybe.
Did we record here before?
I feel like we had already come.
Either way.
Okay.
Maybe it was after.
I don't know.
Because
Your
we
first
knew
Scoop
about
Fest was
the
the Scoop
studio.
Fest we did here, right?
See, now I don't know. Yes,
that we did,
It was
yes.
here.
Yeah. The first Scoop Fest that you guys attended was
Yes.
at Show Creator Studios.
Yes.
Okay.
Was that the only thing I got wrong?
No, we didn't
I haven't listened to it, but no.
We didn't stop going to level 9 because we lost our jobs. Those
because they got
those were
broken
like,
into.
Yeah, those were
Yeah.
like 3 months apart.
Okay.
We continued to record there for a while.
Did we?
Yeah.
And then we started recording at my house because they got broken into.
Yes.
And then while he was
Then we
getting
were
reset
homeless.
up, that's when we reached out to Jacob.
Correct.
Because then we had launched the Patreon at that point.
Yeah.
This all makes sense. All right. Thanks for
Have you guys
amending
not
that.
had the same jobs since we've started recording this? Since I started with you guys?
We were both disbarred from the therapy board
Right.
for pod therapy.
Yeah.
So now
with cause.
Yeah. We mostly we're buskers.
Yeah.
We had Mario and Luigi outfits.
Great.
Yeah, we do really well though. It's actually been 3 times the therapy.
Oh, I
income.
drove past a busker fight the other day.
No.
I love it. Every
No.
time. I've seen like 4 or 5 of those over the years.
No, you hit the lottery.
And I love it every time.
Oh, that's the best. What were they dressed as?
One was a Mickey Mouse,
Fuck yes.
and
Oh my
one
God.
was, I don't know what he was because he didn't have a head on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so he was like in
yeah.
the body of
Was
something.
Mickey whooping his ass?
It seemed pretty evenly matched.
I feel like a Mickey Mouse wearing
It was
costume.
it wasn't like
He's got
full
core
on-
strength.
It wasn't like full on like heavy swings or anything. There was a lot of pushing and shoving.
Okay.
A lot of
Okay.
grabbing each other.
I think
It was-
that's
it
what
was
you're
that
doing.
kind of thing.
You're trying
Yeah.
to you
It
want
was
to
a
throw
junior-
another
it was a
guy to
junior
the
high fight.
Yeah. If a guy's wearing a Mickey Mouse costume, you just got to get him off his center of gravity and toward the ground. Because once he's down, he ain't getting up.
You gotta
That's
just
it.
aim for that nose.
Well, yeah. If you're
There was
gonna-
that one several years ago that went viral that was Batman. Do you remember that one? Yeah, that
I thought it was Spider-Man, but yeah, it was
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah.
There's a lot of fights, but yeah. So
I had to
anyway,
look up
I saw
busker.
one years ago that was one of the
Like what?
Kiss guys. I think it was a guy dressed as Gene Simmons, and
Oh,
he was
boy.
fighting somebody.
that feels right.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Gene Simmons versus Optimus Prime. I'll bet that'd be a good fight.
I'd pay to watch that.
I would do it.
Simmons has
the
so much
Buskers-
advantage.
I'm telling you,
But
if
then
the
Optimus
Buskers
has the
did,
armor.
like,
Optimus has got reach.
That's true.
if
That's
the
true.
Buskers in Vegas did like an underground like bum fight style fighting ring,
They would make so much more money.
and they would make millions.
We need to create
easily.
that, I
in
feel
the
like.
tunnels.
Yeah.
Oh, if we hosted this shit in the tunnels, dude, we could fucking
Are you
retire.
kidding? We could do it at the fucking Four Queens downtown.
Yeah, it's like, it
They've
doesn't
got
have to be the
space
tunnels.
for rent.
Yeah.
They've got space for rent and very few questions about who's renting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in the Vaseline
Yes.
tub. It's
Yeah.
got it. Well, let's just go for it. Let's just do all the pieces. Yeah, I love this idea because, like your Optimus Prime example, he's gonna miss 9 out of 10 swings, but the one he fucking
That 10
lands,
swing, it's
Yeah.
a problem.
gone.
Yeah.
You're across the fucking ring.
Yeah.
So
I need to see
okay.
bets on that.
Guys, we've come up with some really solid business strategies on this show.
Yeah.
I just want to. People don't come here for the business advice. They also don't not come.
This
here
is
for
the
business
second $1
advice.
million idea I've had this week.
Wow.
Oh.
Can we hear the first one?
The first one is marijuana with appetite suppressors just built right into it,
Oh,
which I'm shocked that I genuinely I had that thought and I was like, that's a great idea
because of the
That
munchies?
yeah, I was like,
Okay.
that has to already exist.
Yeah.
and then I googled it and I couldn't find anything that had it.
I'm wondering why.
Somebody explain to me why that doesn't already exist.
Okay.
Tag
I'm speaking to the
Jacob.
people listening to us, not to you, Joe.
Yes.
Yeah, we don't know.
This is $1 million idea.
Yeah.
And the bum fights thing.
There's a reason that doesn't already exist, and I don't know what that
They're
is.
Yeah.
not bum fights. They're busker fights.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
Come on.
Shame on me. No,
Yeah.
thank
Right?
you. Yeah.
Get it
We
right.
also don't want to get lawyered up with all that shit because that's already been done.
Also, these aren't desperate people. These are
No.
people with
No,
jobs.
they're
and
gainfully employed.
That's it.
and they're ready
I'd
to
like to
fucking
see-
rip you apart.
I'd like to
they
see-
will tear you down a peg.
Yeah, they
I'd
will.
like to see Elmo versus the steel drum guy.
Can you imagine the rage a busker has when they finally let it out? Because these people
I
get
can't.
shit on all day.
It's like the center of the sun,
fucking watch Elmo just tear somebody's
the
head
white
off.
hot center.
Yeah, some of those are pretty great. And you got to carry a lot of weight, dude. Like, I bet you they're pretty ripped.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Do you ever take your kids down to the strip?
No, because it's a horrific anti-Disneyland.
Well, I was going to ask, do they ever want to take pictures?
No, because there's like chicks with their tits out.
is
like,
weird.
well,
it's
not
terrible.
those.
So
Wait, how old are your
no,
kids
so-
now?
13 and 8.
They're fine. Show them the titties.
Show them the titties.
The cards.
Uncle Jacob.
Cards.
Yeah,
Uncle Jacob's here.
fine.
It's fine.
Uncle Jacob's only fan.
No, we were when my
I'm
sister
gonna
was
come
in
over to your
town.
house later and show your kids titties.
How did you get showgirls trading cards? Uncle Jacob, Papa. God damn it,
Like
Jacob.
Coach Jacob on the
I'll just sign all of them.
He's like making
They'll
the
all be
little
autographed
noise.
by me.
The, like, brr, brr,
But I want it to be like
Yeah.
circa 1990s, like
Yeah.
Girls of Glitter Gulch.
That's right.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck did you get these?
Yeah.
Oh, I was so sad when
They're-
Glitter Gulch closed down.
That was the best.
That was a great spot.
It is amazing though that you walk down Fremont Street. Like when my sister and brother-in-law were in town, we went down Fremont, and it's like
Oh my
10 o'clock
gosh.
at night.
Oh,
on a
they're still
weekend?
going.
Yeah,
Oh,
and like no,
that's
but
gold.
like how many people were there? Parents pushing strollers.
Oh,
So
Right.
many
kids.
kids. So many kids.
like-
I'm like, what are you doing?
I don't even feel safe there.
Children
Like, I
should
don't know
not
how-
be. So
No.
I will take my kids to the strip. It's daytime, and we're going to
Sure.
like the Hard Rock.
Okay.
Like very easy. We're gonna maybe 20 paces
The
on
Hard
Las
Rock
Vegas
Cafe.
Boulevard. Yes, the restaurant.
Yeah.
because that's also where
why there?
my son performs.
Oh.
yeah, he plays guitar.
Oh, because he does the rock and roll camp
the rock
thing.
and roll camp thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he gets to actually play at Hard Rock.
SJ's
Oh my
going to do a show
gosh.
there, I think, later this month.
It's
they
really
playing
nice. They have a
together?
really cool setup.
Yeah, Jim's son and SJ.
Yeah,
are
yeah.
performing.
They're co-headlining.
They're doing
that.
a duo act.
Yeah, my son is playing the lead guitar for her new band.
Even your son won't be in a band with you.
I know. It's so true. It's so true. Like it's really funny because the other day he was playing something. I think he was playing Sweet Child of Mine. He's like da 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 da, and just playing. I'm staring at him in disbelief, and I'm like, oh my God, you are so good. And he's like, oh, thanks, Dad. And I'm like, I could never do that. And he looks at me and goes, yeah, you could though if you just practiced.
Oh, schooled by your own child. That's the best
Yeah.
part about being a
Twist
parent.
the knife.
He's like, Dad, I'm 13. I figured it out.
Yeah.
It
You just try
turns
harder.
out you can the internet will fucking teach you.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay.
Turns out if you put a little bit of effort into something.
Yeah.
Turns out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who'd have thunk it? Anyway,
not
welcome
Nick.
to Pod Therapy. We're going to answer
I
some
like
questions.
Jim, just wish that I could already play guitar well.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
If you have 3 wishes, play guitar.
Expert at guitar might be on the
it's
list.
on there. I think
Oh, yeah.
But
Yeah.
have you ever seen that
sure.
Brandon Fraser movie where he sells his
Did you
soul?
say
Fraser.
Brendan.
Did you say
Brendan.
Brandon Fraser?
Is that not his
I'm like,
name?
it
Spell his
is
first
Brendan.
name. Spell his first name.
Brand.
Yeah, there it is.
No,
No.
no, no.
Brendan.
Brendan?
B-R-E-N.
It's Brendan, and the last name is Fraser. It's not Fraser.
I give a pass on that one.
Yeah, but the Brendan
Fraser,
needs to be called
Fraser
out.
and Fraser, I give a pass on.
Fine.
Brandon, I
Brendan.
Yeah,
don't.
fine.
Brendan. Brendan Fraser.
Fraser, yeah.
All right. It's called Bedeviled, I think. Something like that.
Yeah,
With Elizabeth Hurley?
Yeah.
That's it.
God, she was so hot.
She's beautiful in that.
so hot.
That's what
But yeah,
Jim's son told me.
Smoking.
he sells his soul to the devil, Elizabeth Hurley, and he gets all these attempts to seduce this girl that he's into, and one of them is that he's a guitar god, and it's just really, really funny.
And that was the one that just worked. Because that just works.
It's awesome because they keep making jokes about it where he's playing just stupid good, and then you can see both of his hands though,
Yeah.
drinking and pouring things into water.
great.
Wait, what?
You gotta
I remember
pretend.
this
Still that
movie.
good.
I remember this. Yeah.
yeah. That's how good you need to be if you're selling your soul. But
Yeah, if I had 3 wishes, it might be flight, invulnerability, or immortality.
you better get that invulnerability in there.
I just I feel like immortality covers
You
it.
might want to start with that.
Yeah,
Do you want to be immortal though?
flight, immortality, and
I feel like it's a monkey
and,
paw
really
thing.
good at guitar.
Because if you say I want to be immortal, then it's, a million years later, the Earth's crashing into the sun. You're like, fuck this noise. Now I'm stuck in the sun. So I feel like you need to say immortality.
I'll walk my ass
but
out of
I
it.
have a kill switch. I can kill myself.
I
though.
can kill myself.
That would be my one trick. And I'm not
On
endorsing
purpose.
suicide. I'm just
On
saying
it
that's
can't be
it's a
oops.
euthanasia thing.
It's better than on porpoise.
Wait, how do you not kill yourself on purpose? So then I'm invincible except if I die
you
by
can,
mishap?
like, overdose and not be trying to.
What's the fucking point of the invincibility if I can kill myself by accident?
But you said you can kill yourself. So it's like if
on
you're
purpose.
choosing to take the drug and like you accidentally
gotcha.
overdose.
No, Jim wants a box in his bedroom that he can just walk into, and if he hits the button inside that box, he dies.
Sure,
I just
okay.
want an
Well, I didn't know
off
if you meant in
switch.
general, like
I'd be comfortable with anything that's painless.
Oh wait, Whitney, were you just letting Jim know that people are able to and do kill themselves
on accident?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I was just saying,
It
like,
was an
where's
interesting learning moment.
Well, where's the line? Like,
Yeah.
he's like, oh no, I want to off switch. Like, you can take yourself out. I'm like, well, what if? How do this? Is it based on intention?
I think in Jim's mind it's based on intention.
We
yes.
need to get on with this fucking show.
Why?
But,
We're nailing
we're
this
so
so
deep
hard.
into the show.
You
We
need
should
to give
probably restart
specifics
the
on
music.
this.
Should we redo it? Should
No,
we
absolutely not.
Just keep going?
Yeah.
Longest day block in history. But do you remember that episode of Family Guy
Oh
where
my
Death has a broken ankle and so nobody can die?
No. Start your question.
I don't.
Oh, that's the best. All right. We need to get to questions here. First one, external validation from Hannah Marie. Hey, Pod Therapy. I listened to the mock couples therapy episode from 2019 and found the discussions on love languages and needs really interesting. It helped me figure out that words of affirmation are really important to me. I had a good chat to my partner about this, all positive, but now I'm in my head wondering where the line is between liking positive affirmation and being dependent on external validation. My biggest insecurity at the minute is how I look and feeling uncomfortable in my body. So is it okay to be reliant on others for this sort of support? Or should I be more independent and able to affirm myself? Can you tell I have anxiety? I probably will mention this to my therapist, but thought I'd email you anyway. Thanks for all your great work on the show. Producer Hannah Marie.
Ooh,
This is a great question.
It is, because I've never really thought about that before.
I hadn't either.
It's also a fine time to mention that if you're a producer, your question gets bumped to the front of the line.
Straight to the top, unless
Yeah.
it gets stuck in spam, which Hannah Marie's did. But I found it eventually.
Sorry. Hey. All right. Yeah, that will happen. So, yeah, I don't know.
Jim has pushed the mic away from himself, so I guess he's not answering this.
Yeah, I guess he's sitting this one out.
I feel like the anxiety doesn't help with insecurities.
Definitely
like,
not.
just gonna throw that out there real quick.
Yeah.
Yes, you're welcome.
Whitney's topping me off with some, what is our stuff called today?
Smoke
Smoke wagon.
Smoke Wagon Nevada Bourbon.
Bourbon
Sponsor the
whiskey.
show, Smoke Wagon. Why aren't we
show.
targeting Nevada-based distilleries to sponsor the
Boy,
show?
you just don't want to answer any questions
Yeah.
today, do you? You just like
drink
The
my
ADD
bourbon.
is full of that.
just avoiding
Just hitting hard.
doing
Half
the
an hour
show.
into the show, we
for
haven't
anything.
answered anything yet.
Oh,
Fuck
we've
it.
tried.
We haven't even acknowledged the question.
This thing
yet.
is downhill since 300. It's just off the rails. We've lost it
$2.99
all.
and 300 were really good. But
Yeah,
since
yeah.
then, they've
That was
been-
the zenith.
been
That
a
was
little shitty.
the high point. So what do you think here, Nick?
I don't know. I mean, honestly, I think like there's got to be some way of being. First of all, I would agree. Bringing this up to your therapist would be really good because I think what your therapist is probably going to do is kind of talk about identifying where that line is as far as when something becomes problematic. So your need for external validation or being dependent on external validation, to some degree, we all have that. It's just a matter of, does the extent that you need it become problematic?
Yeah. How much or how often are you yourself giving yourself that positive affirmation? So you say, like, it feels like right now you're maybe relying on other people's input to help you feel more confident or better about yourself in some ways. But I don't know. I would start with some positive self-talk there.
I like that.
Yeah. I mean, you mentioned your body being an insecurity. I feel like a lot of us can relate to that. And if I'm ever in a situation like that, what I try and do is remind myself of, like, my body is here to keep me alive and to function. And at the very least, even if I'm not 100% satisfied with how my body looks or how I'm feeling that day, it's like I'll remind myself, at least I woke up today it got me through today. I'm walking. I mean, I guess I'm making some assumptions for you, Ryder, but I'm walking, I'm functioning, I'm breathing. Like, it's still serving me, and that's a positive at the end of the day. So just really break it down to some small positives that can be really helpful. But that's kind
I like
of
that a
the
lot.
direction
Yeah,
I
self-affirmation is a good habit for, I think, everybody, because we're constantly dealing with,
we're so
especially
hard
the
on
social
ourselves.
media stuff. There's this barrage of comparison. Getting good at saying, you know what, I love me. Here's something I'm proud of, or here's something I feel good about.
I also think that social media has hidden the fact that so many people feel the same way.
Right.
Yeah.
They look confident in
You're
their
exactly
picture.
right.
I'm not. Look at me on this beach.
Exactly.
You go
Every
look in
time-
their phone, there's a million pictures they did not post that they
Lies.
did not like the way they looked, and they picked the one.
Yeah.
Whenever somebody's posts on social media, that is, here is what I want to publicize about my life.
Yep.
Top 1%
That is it.
of all
Yep.
the photos. Yeah. And all
Yo,
the
I've been out
experiences.
with singers and Vegas performers all the time.
Oh my gosh.
And we'll run into other friends and everything, and they'll see our friend or me or SJ or whoever it is, and say, "Oh my God, I've been seeing you on social media. You're so busy." And the person's like, "Well, I've worked 3 days this month.
Yeah. But you saw.
Posting about it a lot.
I've posted about it 15 days.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
And that's part of my job.
That's it. I'm drumming up
Advertise.
business. I'm
That's
doing
right.
the thing.
Selling
Yep.
the tickets.
That's it. So it is. I mean, social media is absolutely by design an illusion.
Yeah, I completely agree. And it creates that insecurity. So this is a really good question because I like the dynamic here. On one hand, if you want words of affirmation, that basically is saying there is a way that I feel good about myself and good about our relationship, and a way that I receive love is through you telling me, here's what I like about you, here's compliments. And that goes a long way for a lot of people. But this is a great question because, okay, at some point, is that unhealthy for me? Do I become dependent on other people approving of me or telling me nice things? And if I don't hear that for too long of a time and the way that affects me, can that become something that is now a problem within me? It's a deficit, it's a pathology.
Could you make the distinction there that a love language we're really kind of talking about needed for the relationship?
I think
Yeah,
so.
it's like
Whereas what she's talking about as far as external validation isn't about a relationship. It's
Right.
about how she feels about herself.
I think we can use a comparison to illuminate the difference between these two.
Yeah.
Let's say that your love language
Please
is
do.
there. It is physical touch. So if you say, "Wow, whenever I'm being sexual with my partner, I feel really engaged. I feel loved by them. I feel that they're interested in me, and boy, do I feel bonded to them." Right.
Well,
So
and not even sexual.
Oh.
I mean,
right, but let's
just
take
like-
it just to accentuate
Yeah,
the point.
yeah.
I'm using that on purpose.
Gotcha.
So let's take that physical touch and let's say explicitly sexuality. That is a fulfilling, need-bearing thing for me, right? The opposite of that, in this example, would be if I'm not getting laid enough, I don't feel good about myself. So I put myself in bad situations and take sex from strangers just so I can feel like I had value, right? So that would be the pathological version of that,
Right.
which we'd look at and go, no, that is not your love language is physical touch, that you have deep insecurity and low self-esteem and low self-respect. And so you have this twisted, distorted seeking that is adjacent to this, but it's the weird, bizarro, unhealthy version of
Right.
it.
Yeah.
I think the same kind of context can exist at a very extreme level between natural, I like affirmation, and I sure do feel bonded to people who are kind to me, versus I'm so desperate for affirmation that I'm out there, look at me, one-upping other people, anything I can to draw attention to myself. Obviously, that would be a distortion of that. And I
Or
would
not
say that's the
following through
difference.
with certain actions unless I'm getting that validation.
Right. If there's no external validation,
I'm not doing
I
it.
won't do anything good unless the world saw it. You know, same thing. So
Yeah.
I think that's how I would probably differentiate those two. But it's a good question because I do think they kind of exist on the same continuum. It's the same appetite, just in a healthy versus unhealthy expression.
Yeah. And affirmations tend to be like a little more internal, I feel like. Even words of affirmation, I know that can come from a partner or whatnot, but validation tends to come very externally.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think that's a great point you bring up, Jim, that where is it coming from? What's the purpose? And
Right.
really only you can answer that, Hannah Marie.
Hannah Marinky Dinky Dink.
I know it's a cute name. So yeah, I feel like only you can really think about that and decide for yourself first. Am I actually doing these actions despite what other people tell me, like positive things, or
Right.
or is it only when somebody else gives me that feedback that, oh my God, you look great, or you're doing great, or
It's a great question. It is a really great question because
that's
I mean,
a
think
tough
about
differentiation.
it. Well, yeah, and like those of us. So my love language is words of affirmation. Nobody is shocked, but that's also my
Hold on.
kryptonite.
I feel like most men
Wouldn't have seen
are.
that. Oh, most men are.
Yeah, the
yeah.
word-
Oh, you think
physical
so?
touch and words
So
of
I've seen
affirmation.
some research on
Oh.
this because when you ask women, what do you think men's number one love language will be? They say sex. They say it's gonna be physical touch. And then whenever you survey men, physical touch usually tends to be the second,
Yeah.
and the first tends to be affirmation.
Huh.
That just
I
writ
wouldn't
large,
describe-
macro.
Yeah,
no, I got you.
Just trends.
I do not. I do not care for words of affirmation at all.
Well, that's because you're dumb.
What are yours?
I
Let's
don't
go
know.
through all of ours.
I
I'm
don't
like,
know.
what are yours? What are yours, Nick?
Are we doing this?
Is
Are we
that-
just going
is
to
that
compare
not that?
tests?
Yes.
Let's do this.
take
Let's
the
do it.
test.
Here's the thing. I've never actually taken the
Love
test.
language.
If I had to guess, no, you know what?
I'll
no,
tell
I
you
did.
what your love languages
I
are.
did.
Didn't we do it on the show one time?
I
did
think
Enneagrams.
We're about to.
Did we do a different thing
If
on
we
the show?
did, it was in season 1. It would be so
Well,
deep.
she said
I don't- I
29.
Are we still
remember.
in season 1?
But yeah, I don't. I did take it, but I feel like touch was there.
Yeah, it was.
I feel like the other one was deeds.
Yeah, acts of service.
Acts of service.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that was. But I'm trying to remember now because wasn't there
Affirmation,
one that's
wor-
like the receiver versus the giver?
Yeah, there's
that
does
giving gifts,
matter, yeah.
affirmation, physical touch, acts of service, quality time.
Yeah.
Acts of service is different than giving gifts.
Yes.
No,
Acts of service, I washed your car.
Okay.
Giving gifts, I got you a car.
because I feel like
I feel
no,
like
but
they're
I
close,
feel like
though. Yeah.
But what I'm talking about is me receiving love versus me
Yeah.
giving love.
Yeah, yeah,
That
yeah.
can
That's
matter.
totally
because
part
I
of it,
think
yeah.
because I think part of mine was like acts of service.
That's how you
Forgiving.
give love.
That's
feels
how I
right.
show that.
Yeah.
I could see that for men a lot too. Like, look,
Okay.
I worked really hard.
Earning
Yeah.
love.
Yeah.
Yeah,
look,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Demonstrated
Yeah,
myself.
definitely.
Yeah.
yeah. I think that's where I'm at.
Where are you at, Whitney?
Mine is quality time and acts of service. I have a funny story. When Peter and I were first dating, I would I didn't feel like it was ever out of the way, but there'd be something like if he got up to go to the bathroom or something, we're watching a show, I'd be like, hey, can you like get a glass of water for me or something like that on the way back? But for him, in his mind, it was like, why do I? Because that is not his language at all.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
nowhere near acts of service, does
No.
not care. And so he I never knew this bothered him or whatever. But later on, years down the road, he's like, I was always so confused. Like, why do I need to do this?
Yeah,
for you?
get it your fucking self.
I was like, oh my God. I was like, yeah, I guess, doing those little things just really, I love it.
funny.
I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
just
yeah.
the little stuff. Okay.
That's really funny.
No,
Yeah.
I've had a similar conversation with somebody once too, where it's like,
Yeah.
oh well, I did this for you.
And they're like, don't.
I'm like,
Thanks.
oh, I didn't even notice that
Great.
you did that.
Nope.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
it's
And
like, yeah.
Peter won't ask for help either. I'll be like, hey, do you want me to like get this up? He's like, I can get it later. Like he will not. I'm like, I'm offering.
But that's your natural language.
That's
So
my
you're
nat-
like, no,
yeah.
this is me trying to love
Yeah.
you. Like, I
Yeah.
want to help. And he's like, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
I don't need your help. Why don't you love me? Let me love you.
Oh yeah, we won't get into that this episode, but yeah,
I think we should.
Yeah.
go on.
We're just going to therapize each other. Just go.
I'm halfway through the quiz.
Oh, Jacob's taking it right now. Well,
Wait,
Jacob
so-
finishes the quiz. I'll throw mine out
Yeah,
there.
what were yours?
So affirmation. And then, but it's funny because whenever I first learned about the love languages, I've been married for almost 20 years. And I first learned about it way back in the beginning. And my spouse's was quality time. And that I could give 2 fucks about quality time. And this is where our marriage was off to a very bad
Well, we
start.
know you won't hang out with any friends.
I know. No, I won't. And I
makes
still
sense.
consider you my friends.
Yes,
It's funny because I hope you guys are going to lower me into my like fucking grave and it'll be like, I don't even fucking
never
remember his
wanted to
last
hang
name.
out.
I'll do that tonight.
I want to call
You got
dibs.
it, buddy.
That's how good of a friend I am.
Where's the
I
hole?
brought the coffin. I've been
Then Jim's
waiting.
will.
Okay, so we're all your friends.
Yeah.
Okay, group, raise your hand if you know where Jim lives.
Yeah.
Approximately?
Yeah.
I think
No.
south, further
I
south.
think Vegas-y. That's funny.
I know the neighborhood he lives in.
So yeah, like my spouse was into quality time. I had no idea. And this was before I knew about this love languages. And I'm like, why is our marriage falling apart? And like every day we'd get home from work and I would just go to my laptop and like read the news and like dabble on the internet and like go into MySpace and all this nonsense. And my spouse would go in the other room and like watch a show, have a snack,
Feeling
and
loved.
we wouldn't see each other until like, oh, what are you hungry? Like come out like 3 hours later and be like, you want some dinner or something?
Are you hungry, roommate?
Yeah, I know.
You're like, what up, what up?
I'm ordering pizza. You want some?
Yeah.
I'll get a large if you want some.
You want to go halvesies?
I buy you fly.
Venmo me later.
Also, you owe me gas money.
My wife and I do the you buy, like I'll buy you fly thing all the time.
Yeah.
But does that always end up being you? Do you tend to be the flyer?
Wait,
No,
what's
it's whoever-
I buy
it's
you?
whoever's already out.
What?
Oh, okay. Oh,
Stay on
got
topic. Stay on topic.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I want
what
to
is
hear
this?
Jacob's love language. I also think we should take bets. So while he's finishing his
Oh,
thing,
that's a good.
what do you think Jacob's is going to be? And no fucking
okay,
up the
what are
questions
they
just
again?
because I
Yeah.
pick something. You're not allowed to
We
anti-pick
didn't
whatever you
finish
I
want.
don't know
yours.
what the options
Hold
are.
on, we didn't finish yours yet. Did
Oh,
we?
that was it. That was the end
You're
of the
not
story.
quality time.
No, I
So
know.
what
Yeah,
are
I'm
your?
not a therapist, Jim. I don't know what the different
The
options
questions
are
are
here.
pretty fucking obvious, but whatever. No, yeah, mine's words of affirmation. So
Oh, you don't
that
have a
was my-
secondary,
Oh, yeah. I don't know.
but that's the main one.
That's the main
Okay.
one. Yeah. But yeah, and so we were mismatched for a very long time until we had to
Okay.
learn about that and go, oh,
Yeah.
I guess I should hang out with you, huh?
Well,
Yeah, you
no,
should
that
do
makes sense. Peter's is words of affirmation, mine's quality time, and there was like a little rough patch in there until I was like, read this book. You have to
It
read
helps
the
a
book,
lot,
and it was
yeah.
a game changer.
Yeah.
yeah,
it
really is.
Just getting people on the same page. Like,
So simple.
I don't think Jacob cares about any of these.
yeah.
I don't think so
Fuck it.
either.
I think his result is going to be Antichrist.
Yeah.
I think
did
an
you-
alarm's going to go off.
How did you and
The
SJ?
FBI is going to kick in the windows. We got him.
No, I think
He's resurfaced.
he's going to get to the end of the quiz. It's just to say error 404.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
These questions on this quiz, like I'm not.
We should send
I'm
him
not
the dark
especially,
triad
like,
quiz.
I'm
Like,
picking
remember
the,
that?
I'm picking
Yeah.
the one that I identify with the most.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, not really any of them.
Yeah.
Well, how
supposed
does
to get
that? How
close.
do you feel loved by SJ?
I mean,
You
she
don't?
seems to like me.
Missionary.
How do you know though? How do you know she
Or
likes?
she tells me she does.
So words of
I'm
affirmation.
vaguely aware.
Yep.
No,
No,
you asked
okay.
how do I know? She tells me.
All right, maybe we should
So-
get Jacob's answers later in the show.
So
Right.
is it okay to be reliant on others for this sort of support?
I don't think
Or should I
that's
be
great.
more independent?
It's not gonna last very long if you rely on others. You're with yourself forever.
Yeah. Now you can't completely go without it, right? Like, because I see that on the other end too, like the other extreme where you
Too
can,
independent. Like,
yeah, be so independent. Like I don't
See-
care what anybody thinks, and I don't think that that's actually true. I don't think anybody just completely does not care.
Let me tell you how this shit happens. So
Okay.
whenever you get to the weird, distorted Jim version of this,
I love this.
where it gets bad. So like it gets so bad that when somebody is nice to me and they are affirming, it hits so hard and is so powerful and so deeply craved and so deeply appreciated that it frightens me. And then I'm like, oh no, you can't
Imposter.
have this amount of power over me. I barely know you. Like, but
You
if
don't
you
be
asked me
nice
to
to
like
me.
come move your fucking couch right now, I probably would. And then I'm like, that's not okay. I shouldn't like have this much loyalty to this person. I don't know them. They just
That's-
said I have nice shoes.
So
And
that's when you get
run away.
That's when you get weird. Like I just wanted to pet the bunny. Lynn.
Yeah. So then
Yeah.
I'm like, and then I like run away from them. They're like, oh, I thought we were getting along really good. And Jim like never talks to me ever again. So like I went to a CEU conference. I'm stalling for you, by the way, Jim.
No, I'm done. I'm ready.
Good.
I'm ready.
Last comment. I went to a CEU conference for 2 fucking days this weekend. It was awful.
What's that?
Continuing education
Okay.
credits. Sorry. See, this is why we need Jacob.
Units.
Yeah.
Because we'll just throw that shit around. And
Yeah.
he's like, what the fuck are you?
He's like, what are
what's
you
a
talking
CEU?
about?
Saying acronyms again.
There
I
it
don't know
is.
what that
AT&T.
means.
What do they mean?
2 different therapists came up to me at some point this weekend and were like, hey, can you and I get some lunch sometime? Like, I'd love to just
Nope. Moving on.
call you
Fuck you.
and can I buy you lunch and we should hang out? Twice that.
What the
fucking
hell do
happened.
you want with lunch with me?
I damn near had a panic attack both times. Like, maybe, I don't know. I gotta ask my mom. I just was like, okay. And then they like, I think awkwardly shuffled away because I was like,
Awkward
I'm
moonwalk.
okay. And they're like, okay. And so like, I never gave them my
You
number.
just started,
Never
you just
did
started
anything.
sweating profusely.
It was bad. I'm like, do
It
you?
was, hold on. I'll
Are we
be Jim.
friends
Jim,
now?
you be the person asking you to lunch.
Oh yeah. So hey man, we should get some lunch. I'd love to buy you lunch sometime. That was pretty much. It was Macaulay Culkin. It was just aftershave on the skin. And they were like, "Okay, I'm going to leave now." Pulled the fire alarm, and I was good. So, without further ado, Jacob, what are
So
your
there are
levels?
five things.
Yes.
Right?
The
Okay, so
Nina,
the
the
receiving
Pinta, the
gifts,
Santa
words of
Maria.
affirmation, quality time, acts of service, and physical touch.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm going to tell you right now, my number 1 is 26%, and my number 5 is 13%.
All right. All right.
So
That's
they're
actually
all-
not crazy.
They're all pretty. They seem pretty even to me.
okay. All right. So they're all
Okay.
similar.
Yeah.
Okay.
So receiving gifts, words of affirmation, quality time, acts of service, physical touch.
That was the order?
In order.
So top to bottom.
Yeah.
Receiving gifts
Receiving
was number
gifts,
one.
number 1,
I buy that.
26%.
Yeah, I buy that.
Words of affirmation,
He loved
23%.
that iPad.
Yeah.
Quality time, 23% as well. So
He's very aligned with
so we got
that.
the top 3 is 26, 23, and 23%.
Okay.
Oh, wow. What was?
Wow.
Or, never mind.
Receiving gifts.
Number 4, receiving gifts,
Words of affirmation.
Receiving gifts is 26. Words of affirmation and quality time are both
And
23%.
quality. Okay.
Okay.
And then acts of service 16%, and then physical touch 13%.
Okay, I
see
like this.
that.
I feel like I would have guessed gifts somewhere in there.
Really?
I mean, it makes sense in hindsight because, like, I know, like for Christmas, you and SJ, like, you spend some time, like, getting
Sure.
each other
like
gifts
Peter and I
stuff.
don't. The gifts
the-
is not either of ours, so we do not give
But
each other
all
gifts.
of the questions
for
about
stuff.
gifts in the
weird.
quiz
Peter
were
buys me
like,
gifts all
what
the
means
time.
more to you,
Peter?
like a hug or an unexpected gift?
Oh.
And that word unexpected in there,
Means a lot.
that means a lot.
Yeah.
Like if I approach a situation, like you guys have gotten me unexpected gifts
yeah.
before,
Yeah.
and it really touches me.
I was
It-
like,
it-
he hated it.
it honestly,
That's because she was a hooker, Jacob.
yes, and it touched me.
Yeah.
And I'm going to continue referring to it as it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why we pay.
Yeah.
So I don't have to humanize this.
Right.
No eye contact. No kissing on the lips.
You didn't
Sex
name this
work is real
podcast
work.
Sin City
Touch
Shrink.
me. I love this show. 6 years in, fuck it.
Yeah.
But no, like
anymore.
receiving, like I don't think of myself as someone who really likes to receive gifts, but I am honestly like,
Yeah.
it takes me aback if someone gets me a really nice gift.
Right. It
And-
actually hits you.
yes.
That means they were
That's how I
thinking
feel
of
with
you when you
affirmation.
weren't there.
And that, it is surprising to me.
Yes.
Mm.
It's
It is-
almost
it is-
scary. A
It
little
is
bit
a
like,
very
oh,
pleasant
shit.
surprise to me when
Yeah.
that happens, but it is very surprising to me.
Yeah.
That is how I
pleasant,
feel with it.
Like pleasant, but almost uncomfortable.
Oh, I'm uncomfortable anytime anyone shows me any kind of affection.
Yeah,
or
because it's
like,
sincere
oh, all
and it
right.
hits you where you live.
I know
Like,
what I'm doing from now on every Monday night.
Yeah, just buy him gifts.
I'm going to bring him
gifts.
gifts. I'm going to
Yeah,
show
yeah.
him
I brought
affection.
you this
now it's
bouquet of
expected.
flowers.
Now it's
Yeah.
My
expected.
plan is working
Yeah.
completely.
Yeah.
Hugs.
Just getting shit.
all the
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
He's like,
Nick's gonna be like, why does Jacob always have a boner?
No, he always did. That was just normal.
desk.
Just a desk.
like
that
the
desk
pants.
doesn't even have legs.
it's like the pants thing.
All right, we should probably move on.
right.
Ryder, thank you so much for supporting us, and thank you
Yes.
for exploring this with us and giving us an opportunity to explore it. Definitely bring
Yeah.
it back to your therapist.
Certainly.
Lots here for you to kind of get into the finer details of, and I relate to you, Hannah Marie,
Yeah.
right there with you. But we are going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about planning my funeral. You're listening to
Ooh.
Pod Therapy.
Today's episode is brought to you by Jake Schneider, Judy Schneider, Leon Kassab, Carolyn Albert, Sammy Scoop, Sarah Smith, Mike Helm, Darren Cunningham, Matt and Lisa Tangeman, and Mrs. Hot Dog Scoop. And if you would like to sponsor the show, become a therapy producer at patreon.com/therapy. All right. In some randomness of interesting facts that I found.
Ooh.
Oh, so you made this quiz?
Uh-huh.
All right.
Oh.
Wow.
An old
Okay.
Nick Tangeman original.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
cheating.
An original.
Nick's gonna win.
Yeah.
Guys, remember the Baja Men?
Oh, yeah. Who let the
music.
dogs out?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Did I get the first answer?
No.
Ah, shit.
Name any other song by the Baja Men.
Oh, that would be dirty. Shit, it's easier to
Not
tell you who shot
multiple
JFK.
choice.
Oh,
Steve let the dogs out.
He let the cat
Final
out.
answer.
they're all variations.
Who let the sheep out?
Mr. Plum
Bah,
with
bah,
a wrench in the cupboard. Let the dogs out.
What band or what year did that band form?
Oh, the
A
band?
form.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Ah,
All right, so we're
I'll,
Price is writing this.
Okay, no. Yeah, you know what? I had multiple choice. Price is right.
Price Right's give me
okay.
Price is
all right.
Jacob goes
93.
first because he is bad at fucking everybody. in this
93. 1993.
I like that actually. That feels.
No, that's dead on. I just
think you-
I
I
just
think
know
you
when
got it.
I was there when the Baja Men were formed.
I was one of the Baja Men.
Yes.
It was called Baja Man, and then my friend
They
joined.
called me Ha. That's right. I put the Ha in Baja.
It was originally Baja California Men.
Yep.
And we decided to cut it for brevity. Where are you going with this, Whitney? I just so you know, I'm going to be a gentleman. I'm not going to fuck her over whenever she picks a date and do the weird thing.
I never
time
know.
will
I
tell.
never remember the rules for.
Closest
thing-
without going over.
Close without going over. Yeah.
So then, if I go a little
So
bit
you want
over,
to
that's
short
bad.
under somebody, or you go
I
right
gotta
over
go
them. or-
He said 93?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you said like March of '93, that'd be a dick move.
Yeah, because he's got January and February.
Yeah.
I was gonna say 96. Is that stupid?
Okay.
That's not a dick
I'm
move.
gonna
Okay.
go 96.
All right.
96.
I'll go. It's gonna be okay. I'm gonna take the over. I'm gonna take 99.
Okay.
Okay.
I think I got this.
I think you did too.
No.
No?
None of you got it.
Shit.
Zeros
all
across
over?
the board.
We're all
It's
over?
earlier than 93.
90.
1977. Yes.
That's legit. That sounds.
Jesus.
1977. The Baja Men were
What were
When
they
did that
doing
song
from
come out?
1977
I have no
till
idea.
Who Let the Dogs
Weddings.
Out?
They were old.
Weddings. That's all they had to be doing was
Oh my
weddings.
god! I gotta Google this.
They were sitting on Who Let the Dogs Out for decades?
They waited
I
for the
don't think
right
so.
They
decade.
waited for culture to
They
catch.
knew.
That's what it
They
was.
knew the
Yeah.
90s and Y2K.
Disco was thriving.
Yeah. The
John
2000s.
Travolta
Dogs
was
Out
topping
came
the
out in
charts.
2000.
That's what I thought.
Wow.
Like, so I was like a few
They
years
I
before.
sat
thought,
on
I thought I was going
Yeah.
back a little
They
way.
Yeah.
sat for 23 years, and they were like,
No.
Holy
I
shit.
don't
not
think
ready.
they came up with that song.
No,
in
they did.
1977.
That was what brought them together.
How were
No,
they
actually,
discovered?
it was in '77. It was Who Let the Cats Out
Yeah,
because
They were-
dogs weren't
they were
really
drafting.
widely
They weren't
accepted.
big.
Nobody
Yeah.
loved cats.
People were bell bottoms and disco, and these people made this up, and they were like, "The world's not here yet.
Yep.
We're gonna." Or they're
It's
time
like
travel.
it's like a civilization discovering warp speed.
they changed
That's
their
like-
sound. That's what. So in
Oh.
'77, they were a disco funk band,
Oh yes.
and they regularly performed in nightclubs and hotels in the Bahamas and self-released several albums. That makes a lot of sense.
Okay, but they changed their name to Baja Men in 91.
That makes more sense. Because why would you? It'd be
Yeah, I'm taking
redundant.
a point for '93.
I'm not calling myself Baja Men if we play in the Bahamas. That's dumb.
Oh wait,
That's like calling our band
Wait,
Vegas
what?
Band. That's stupid.
No, that
Okay,
makes
Whitney said they
sense.
changed the name to Baja Men in the
Yes.
90s.
oh
Yes.
wait a minute. The Baja Men were not formed until '91.
Oh.
Until '91, that same band was together, but they performed as High Voltage.
Oh,
Yeah, they're a different
yeah.
band.
I'm giving that to Jacob.
Is
No,
this
I'm still
all
Wait,
over? No,
yeah,
you're
you're
still,
still
you're still
over.
all
over.
You're still
Yeah,
lost.
We did. We all
No, there's
lost.
still
Phil.
no points.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not arguing for points.
Okay.
I'm
Still-
arguing for sanity.
The integrity
But
of
Nick's
it.
question
Is
was
this a
when was the
declaration
band
of shenanigans?
created?
No, there's no shenanigans.
no
here.
shenanigans.
All right, all
No,
right.
I'm just educating
It's
myself.
feeling very
I'm
shenanigan
just
like.
educating
No.
myself about the Baja Men
Yeah.
slash High
I'm
Voltage.
on
You
team
said-
fuck you,
Oh, no,
but not
Nick
for this
said when was
reason.
the band created?
Yeah.
I did.
They were-
Either
That's it.
way,
All
we're
right,
all
all right.
over.
Yeah,
Yes.
we
Get
are.
your trivia together is what we're all trying to say.
No, I'm fine with the I'm not arguing anything.
We learned-
I'm educating
We
Jacob's
all
myself.
being a
learned about
gentleman.
the Baja Men
Yes.
tonight.
Jacob and Whitney are both being kind to you. I'll tell you the truth. We're bad at this, and it needs to get better, okay?
It'll get better.
Yeah, okay. Eventually.
Doesn't need to, but
Doesn't
it will.
need to. Planning my funeral from Anonymous. Hi, Pod Therapy.
I want all the questions now to be about the Baja Men.
That's 100%.
And not just because I currently have the Wikipedia page open.
He's got this. He's been memorizing it this whole
Yeah.
time. He's playing the long game.
By the time we get to the next question, I will know everything about the Baja Men.
Planning my funeral. Hi, Pod Therapy. I need your help planning a funeral. I've recently come to realize that my childhood wasn't normal. I encountered physical and mental abuse, along with many other traumas that I'm now in therapy to help unpack. The thing is, as I explore this more with my therapist, we talk about how much I'm still that scared little kid inside. And how a lot of the cognitive distortions I encounter in my daily life are linked back to me in this mindset of still being in constant danger. A lot of my work is centered around recognizing that I'm no longer in danger, that things are okay now. To that end, I want to give my childhood a funeral, to finally say goodbye to that past life and ceremonially enter a new era. I know I want to have an event. I know I want to do something special to mark its passing, but I could use some help planning this Any and all suggestions are greatly appreciated. Have fun with it.
Ooh, have fun.
Anonymous.
All
We're
right,
going to
then.
regret that.
Those are dangerous words.
Oh, that was a bad way to finish. We were real serious talking about mental abuse and shit there for a second. And then you went ahead and unleashed fucking Jacob.
I was about to say, this writer made it really hard for me to be the funny guy on the podcast.
Jacob was getting up from the mic until he heard the end.
Yeah.
He was like, all right, I'm not
back.
needed for this. Oh, shit. Okay. All right.
Hookers and blow for everybody.
Yeah, that's one way to do it. Isn't that called an Irish funeral? What's an Irish wake?
That is racist.
You're probably right. I should probably stop. It's probably going in that direction.
No, I believe an Irish wake is the colloquial term for just sitting around and drinking and getting very drunk.
What's the one where you
While
know you're
talking
going to
about the
die,
person.
and so you have your funeral while you are alive?
Celebration of life?
Is that it?
Aw.
I know what you're referring to is the Bucket List starring Morgan Freeman.
Is that what that was? Wait, no. There was a movie where Michael J. Fox does this, or it was a TV show.
Back to the Future.
It was an episode of a TV show.
It was a very special episode of Family Ties.
Jesus, I don't know what
Family
this was.
Ties was a great
Michael J. Fox
Sorry,
guest
guys.
stars on a TV show in which he's dating one of the main characters. She falls in love with him, but then
The Cosby
realizes
Show.
he's terminally ill. He invites her to his funeral.
This is actually the trip.
And it's a big fun bar thing, and everybody gives speeches about him, and he's there clinking glasses and cheersing, and she's like, I am so in love with you, and I've just discovered you're going to die. Anyway, that would be the
Wow.
kind of
This was
funeral
a
that makes
movie?
cool.
Is there a
It's a TV
Jim's
show.
neurotic
I'm going
bingo
to
square
IMDb.
for Jim brings up
idea.
a topic that he doesn't
I
know
just
anything
know Michael
about?
J.
Okay,
Fox
but
is
here's
in
the thing. Okay, he knows Michael J. Fox is in it, which means Michael J. Fox has nothing to
I
Definitely
do with
think
it.
not
it's
in it.
post Spin City.
I don't know. I don't
Robert
know what
Downey
this
Jr.
is.
is in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Michael J.
It's
Fox is the old
it's
guy,
Iron
right?
Man.
Oh,
He's the old guy
He's
from
talking-
Taxi?
He's
oh,
talking
I
about
mean
Iron
Denzel
Man.
Washington. That's who I was thinking.
I always get those two confused. The complexion.
Jesus.
I mean, honestly, like, it could just be Iron Man. It could
Yeah.
be like,
It could be,
oh,
yeah.
all these people just discovered that he has like bits of shrapnel
true.
in his
That's
heart.
true.
Was it
Okay, this is the
Annie?
part
Yeah.
where Michael J.
Annie.
Fox closed
Was it
that
Annie?
glove with
He's
all
an
the
Annie.
gems on it, hit
Yeah.
the purple guy's face, and said, I am Iron
It kind of
Man.
looked like a ball sack.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
What do you guys think this is a good idea?
Yes. So this theory actually comes from narrative therapy.
That was absolutely going to be my first question to you guys.
Yeah. I'm good with it. So
Yeah.
this idea of doing some kind of ceremony or ritual to symbolically inaugurate something.
Ceremony, ritual, everything you've said so far, I agree with.
Okay. Oh, yeah, this specific thing may be interesting. We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
But just to shine a light on it for a
Okay.
second. So narrative therapy, we don't talk about it much on the show, is an offshoot. I don't even think it's associated with SFBT. It's independent. But I believe Michael White originated this, and it mostly
Gotta
has
be
to
Michael
do...
White.
He's a good guy. Mostly has to do with storytelling. And so narrative therapy looks at how all human history and identity is attached to our tendency to create storylines. And even who you are, who you think you are as a person, narrative therapy would say you construct that over the course of your life by telling yourself a story about everything, who your relationships are, how you love, who you see yourself as, your politics, your religion. All of it, even your pains and your successes, are part of a story. And so narrative therapy says, hey, what if we could re-engineer your story? What effect might that have in your identity or your lived experiences? It's a really neat idea. I don't practice it. I've known therapists that do. I've borrowed from it. I use a technique called externalizing that I stole from narrative therapy. But this is one too, which I think narrative therapy calls ceremony or ritual. But like an example of this might be creating yourself a graduation diploma for School of Hard Knocks or Bad Relationship University, right? And you and your therapist may talk about what you learned, and you'll give a graduation speech. I've officially graduated from bad relationships, and your therapist will create this special diploma, and you'll both have kind of a laugh. But then you really will take this diploma, and they really will say, but for real, congratulations. I know that you've finally left this behind.
That idea I love.
Yeah.
Oh,
The
man,
thing-
I hate that idea so much.
It's too bad you'll
Okay,
disagree.
imagine Whitney or I said it.
Yeah.
Does
Man,
that change
I
it?
weirdly still hate it.
Oh, okay. That's
I wanna-
then
I wanna
can't
hear
help
this.
you.
I hate it
can't
less.
help
I
you.
want to
All
hear
right.
what Jacob's thoughts are, but
It's less
after this.
obnoxious, but I don't care for it.
Here's what I like about that I don't like about the funeral.
Okay.
What I don't like about the funeral idea is you take away any kind of survival aspect of it. What I like about the diploma from the School of Hard Knocks is you get a sense of accomplishment, acknowledging, yes, this happened.
Right.
This was shitty, but I fucking survived it.
And I did.
That's key.
Yes.
Yeah, that's really
Which
key.
is with the funeral piece, you're saying, it's done. I didn't survive it.
Yeah, good
I
point.
don't like that piece.
So what are they
point.
burying? What is the writer burying?
Childhood that was traumatic. Where they feel...
So it's almost like a rite of passage, except it's almost like we're putting this behind us and then
Yes.
I'm moving on with my future life.
Yeah.
So my first question is this a way of pretending that the childhood trauma is not there?
This is a way
and
of
I'm going to
restoring...
continue because what I don't think I would like it at all if this is I'm now going to live the rest of my life and ignore this part of my life.
Sure, yeah. So the writer says, I feel like I am in danger because as a child, I often was.
Okay.
And I want to let go of that part of me that's always feeling like they're in danger. To do that, I want to go through a process of almost saying,
It's like bringing closure.
you are no longer in danger because you died. That it's done. You can bury that part of you that's fearful and rise again as somebody who's not fearful. You're no longer scared because you've already gone through a process of letting go. So that's how I relate to it.
Yeah.
But I agree with you, Nick, because in trauma work, that's the number one approach we want to incorporate into trauma work is let's not pretend this never happened. Let's reframe, which again comes back to narrative therapy, you as a survivor. You're not the victim of abuse necessarily, though that's still a truth and we're allowed to grapple with it. You are the survivor of these experiences. And you take them with you and look at who you've become now. Look at all these amazing things about you that we like. And maybe that's okay.
Yeah, the celebration of life instead of the funeral.
Michael J. Fox.
Yeah. I like that more.
It might have
I
been
like that
Spin
more.
City.
Now I really need to know what this
I
is.
tried
Because
to look up
the more
IMDb,
you
I
talk
haven't
about
found
this, the
anything.
more I'm convinced
He
it's
was
not
only
Michael
in
J.
like
Fox.
2 episodes of the show.
Oh,
like
it's
it
a
was
TV
long enough for the
show?
main character. Like there was a girl character who like fell in love with him. It might have been Scrubs.
I
don't
was just
know.
going to say he was
It feels
in,
Scrubsy. I think Elliot may have fallen in love with Michael J. Fox.
He
but
was
I
in
feel like Michael
Scrubs.
J. Fox would have been a little older.
He
for
was
her.
in Scrubs?
for 2 episodes.
I think he was a doctor in that one, though.
No, 2 episodes isn't a doctor.
Is he a patient?
Kevin? Does Kevin sound...
I don't know. Kevin seems like a
Does
Michael
that
J.
ring
Fox
any
name.
bells?
It was 2004. Does that seem like the right time?
I don't know because he was in Spin City right before like the Parkinson's got really
Spin
strong.
City was before that.
Yeah, so
For
but that's when he started
103
doing,
episodes.
like guest appearances.
Sorry, I don't mean to I don't want to interrupt
Apology
your Michael J.
accepted.
Fox thing, but
I'll
to get back to
explore
the
later.
writer,
I'll
Yeah.
allow it.
What does the Michael J. Fox say?
I do think though that the other useful part of this is looking at it from a survival aspect, is that you can use this later on in your life. You know, when I work with people who are, in my personal training business, right? And we're talking about like overcoming these obstacles and all this stuff. The thing that I always like to remind people is that, hey, this isn't the hardest thing you've ever had to overcome.
Right. Yeah.
You've had to overcome way worse, right? And it's so sometimes it's nice to have that instead of burying that
Right.
and put it aside and, just kind of like closing that chapter or that book, to be able to look at that as like, oh yeah, I overcame this. So yeah, maybe I can work out this conflict with my boss at work.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe I can work out this financial obstacle that I'm encountering right now. Maybe I can pursue this degree later on in life. Having this behind you and saying, yes, this was the worst thing I've ever experienced and I came out on top, shows me that I have some resilience, shows me that I've got some positive skills. It shows me that I've got things that I can pull from and use to deal with other obstacles later in life.
Yeah, I don't want this to be a burying of a part of the life.
Yeah.
Like the hardships in my life, the overcoming of hardships in my life make me, in large part, who I am.
I get where you're all coming from. On that.
I do.
I don't want to ignore those things. I want to celebrate the triumphs. I want to celebrate getting over them. Yeah, maybe it's just like what Whitney said. Maybe it's just, instead of funeral, it's a celebration of accomplishment of life or whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I know I said that, and I do stand by that. I actually didn't have a lot. I was like, I don't know. Do you have a funeral? Like,
There's a bug around me.
No, I thought you were waving at me.
Oh, Jim was
waving at
waving
each other.
frantically. I was
We
like,
were just
is this inflatable waving arm man?
Being friends. Friends waving
not
at each
friends.
other, right? Oh.
So, but I'm a little bit on the same page with Jim. I think about there's another podcast that I really love. It's old.
You're
It's
cheating on
I
us?
know. I think the first episode is from like 2014 or something. It's super old, but I love it. It's called The Adult Chair. Have you heard of it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It kind of it like touches on this a little bit
Yeah.
for me, and
that's
it's
exactly what I was thinking.
and it's more like reframing. So
Yeah.
it's not like saying forget about your past, but in the adult chair, it's kind of like reparenting yourself. Like the
Yes.
things that your parents did wrong, and in this case, it sounds like some extensive abuse. It's kind of like rewriting your history, and it's tricking your brain into thinking you were raised better than you were. That's way oversimplified, but
Right.
that's kind of like the very small like summary of it, where you're parenting yourself. So now your brain remembers some positive stuff from your childhood, even though you've kind of created that new narrative.
It's a fiction. Yeah, it's a narrative.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it helps you feel stronger. And I guess I don't know. I like what Nick said. I think it just depends on the person and where they're at. Like, are they at a place to be able to pull and recall from their trauma to say like, hey, I'm ready to move forward. Maybe after this funeral celebration of life they could, but man, it's tricky because some clients I work with, they feel really stuck in their trauma, and it almost like overwhelms and defines them rather than
Yes.
being like, oh, that's part of who I am and I can use this for good.
Yeah, this is where, and I think that this is the punchline of all of our theories. If there's not already a therapist in this, I really want there to be.
Yeah.
Because this is getting granular enough that I would want some case management. I would want to ask questions.
Right.
And as a therapist, you could ask the right questions to get in this and go, oh, now that I know these details,
Right.
here's how
I
I'm
have
going to help you.
I have a ton of questions. I have
Yeah.
nothing but questions.
We
on
got to
this.
steer you maybe in this, and this is how we thread the needle. And I'll bet you that would be something you'd really benefit from. I mean, there's another theory out there, and I know this is close to the name, transactional analysis. And that's the one where there's an adult version of me, there's a child version of me, and so you consider your relationships.
And an adolescent.
That's it. Yeah, the adolescent.
That's the adult chair.
And
stuff,
so that's it's exactly it.
is,
And so it's that theory of like in every way that you interact with another person, there are times when you're interacting adult to adult, adult to child, child to adult. And so like in that theory, going back to narrative therapy, there is an understanding of like, you know, this happened to me the other day. I went to my cousin's 40th birthday at Hofbrauhaus. Good time.
Okay.
Oh, I love it.
And
Nick loves Hofbrauhaus.
yeah, great place.
One of my golfing buddies was just there, and he was sending me pictures because I talk about it all
so
the
good,
time.
so good, so good. I had the
Like,
schnitzel.
that's all I talk about.
It's
is
so
Hofbrauhaus.
really
good.
is.
It's so good. But everybody that was there, except for one person, I grew up with in some capacity in my youth, and there was like one guy who I know as an adult, and he happens to know my cousin, and so he's there, and he's like, "Oh, Jim, what's up?" And I'm like, "Hey, man," and everybody else there's call me Jimmy.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And this has happened to you too.
Yeah, yeah.
Like whenever we're around some of my
They call
childhood
Nick
friends.
Jimmy?
Yeah.
That's how you know when they met you.
That's how they know. And
That's
Nick
how Laura.
That's right. I
referred
forget
to-
Laura.
yeah.
Yeah. We were at Big Five one
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
And I didn't know you were dating Laura. And Laura's like, Jimmy Jobin. And you look at her and you're like, who the fuck is Jimmy? But yeah, that's
My
Jim.
friend Jim.
And so they're like, oh, he was Jimmy as a kid. But like that identity shift is a real thing. And I could see myself, if I was struggling with childhood, I could see like, well, that's not me. I'm Jim Jobin. I'm an adult and I identify differently. Jimmy Jobin was this boy and I remember him. That's a different version of me. If I had a particular beef with that part of my life, I could see myself retiring Jimmy and saying, you know what? I give myself permission to no longer identify as him. I give myself permission to allow that part of my story to be gone now. And gone, and I agree with you, there's a lot of circumstances that's not the right move.
Yeah.
There could be some that it is. Again, I'd really like a therapist to be part of that.
Sure.
Yeah.
To
Yeah,
suss out those
definitely.
details.
Because maybe is there a way to hold on to like, I know I've been through stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like when you enter into other challenging things in your life, you can say,
Right.
wow, I've been through more difficult things, even if I don't want to specifically like recall what all those are.
Yeah.
But
Right.
yeah.
makes
Forgetting
sense.
completely sounds like
It's like when Wyatt
maybe not
Earp
great.
stopped being a police officer in Tombstone.
I gotta rewatch Tombstone.
let
I
that
haven't seen
part
it since I was
slide.
like
So
10.
okay,
This was right before Michael J. Fox.
I
my
watched
God.
that. I watched that.
Tombstone?
I
When?
did
That's
watch
right, because I
Tombstone.
shamed
When?
you for
Yes,
not watching
because
it.
it was I don't know, like it's probably
You have
it was
to
within
adjust
the
your
last
expectations
month. Within the
for
last
time.
month.
You
Okay.
can't compare that to 2023.
I gotta
film.
say, Wyatt Earp I think was just better. I think Wyatt Earp was better than
Ooh,
Tombstone.
I loved Tombstone when I was little.
That's all the time we have
For the
this
series. The entire fucking
this
podcast.
It all
Yes.
circles back
Dead.
to Tombstone.
It's all dead.
Tombstone is
Really?
a better movie than
I've
Wyatt
never
Earp.
seen Wyatt Earp,
I just-
so I think I owe that to you.
I
I don't
liked,
think Wyatt Earp is a terrible movie.
I
Tombstone is
liked
a better
Kevin
movie.
Costner's portrayal of him because he was almost like the anti-hero, where like he wasn't a good guy.
Doc Holliday
He was
that.
He's
he
complicated.
was he was very complicated. Whereas
Who plays
Kurt Russell,
Doc Holliday in Wyatt Earp?
I see his face so clearly.
oh
Iceman.
my God, no,
No, Val Kilmer is
not Val Kilmer.
Doc Holliday in Tombstone.
Quaid, Dennis
Dennis
Quaid.
Yeah, yeah.
Randy
Dennis
Quaid?
He
is
did a really
excellent
good- yes.
as Doc Holliday.
I think he did a
As
better
good
job.
as good a job as Val Kilmer does as Doc Holliday. I think he's great as Doc Holliday.
Yeah.
Dennis Quaid does a phenomenal job as Doc Holliday in.
I need
Wyatt
to
Earp.
see this then. Okay, so you know what? I'm going
Wyatt
to
Earp-
withhold my judgment until I've seen Wyatt
You
Earp.
haven't even seen it?
my
no, you
God.
definitely
Kidding
should.
me?
Oh, I gave you shit because Tombstone is legacy.
Tombstone is a
level
better
film.
movie.
It's
top to bottom than
film
Wyatt Earp.
royalty.
I don't know. I don't know.
It's also you have to watch it through the. You don't have to, but I
Do
like
it.
to watch it through the lens of a spaghetti western
Oh,
because
interesting.
Tombstone is a modern day spaghetti western.
Yeah,
I can
it
see
kind
that.
of is. Huh. Yeah.
We're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about obsessing about Taylor Swift.
T Swift.
T.
She's here.
Swift.
Wait,
Now
she's
I'm
not
just
here.
thinking
Come
about
on
ways
in,
that I would do
Taylor.
this.
You're listening to Pod Therapy.
Travis Kelsey's here.
Today's episode is brought to you by Jake Schneider, Judy Schneider, Leon Kassab, Carolyn Albert, Sammy Scoop, Sarah Smith, Mike Helm, Darren Cunningham, Matt and Lisa Tangeman, and Mrs. Hot Dog Scoop. And if you would like to become a sponsor of the show, become a therapy producer at patreon.com/therapy.
Frank
All right.
Stallone is in Tombstone.
Ooh.
Wow.
Sylvester Stallone's brother is in Tombstone
Who is he?
and is phenomenal.
I know, he has a
he's one of
brother?
he's one of the bar like gamblers earlier in the movie. He
Now I
gets
want
the
to
shit kicked out
rewatch
of him.
Tombstone.
Now it just makes me want to
Like
watch
Kurt
Tombstone.
Russell beats him up
Ooh.
early
That's
on.
Frank Stallone?
That's Frank Stallone.
Shut
Yeah.
up.
Oh, was he the dealer?
That is
Yeah,
so-
yeah. He's the
in
dealer
very
they take the
beginning.
game from.
Yeah. Oh my God, I didn't realize
Yeah,
that.
Yeah.
skin that smoke wagon,
That's it.
boy.
The guy that kind of looks like Sylvester
getting real
Stallone.
sick of your
but
lip,
it's definitely
mister.
not Sylvester Stallone.
He slaps him in the mouth. You gonna stand there and bleed? Oh yeah, that's
All right.
Frank Stallone.
Yeah,
Wow.
I'm pretty sure. I'm
Yeah,
about to look
they're
it up to make
nothing
sure, but I'm pretty
alike.
sure I'm pretty sure that's the character that he is.
Wow.
Good thing it wasn't Sylvester Stallone, otherwise it'd have been a
He'd
short
whooped his
movie.
ass.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd have been the end of it.
We know the results.
All right. Take Me Home, Country Roads by John Denver
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that is Frank Stallone, by the way.
was not originally written
I
about
knew
West
that.
Virginia.
I just watched a country documentary not long
When
ago.
writing the chorus, he found that West Virginia sounded better than this state,
California. I think it's California.
which he was right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just Maine.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
one
Maine.
syllable. There it is.
Maine.
I want
You in
California.
Maine now?
Give me
Saskatchewan.
California.
Oklahoma's going to be mine.
Toronto,
Yeah.
North
British
Carolina.
Columbia.
South Africa,
It's weird. He just was really reaching into the
Brazil.
North Dakota.
back. Antarctica.
the moon.
Jim's dead.
Arkansas.
Okay,
Ooh,
so you're going
Arkansas's a
Arkansas.
good guess. Oklahoma.
That's
You're going
dumb.
Oklahoma.
I want California.
All right.
You're all wrong.
Damn it.
What?
Who's the closest geographically?
Oh, there it
Okay,
is.
what did you say?
I said Arkansas.
Well, they're close. Oklahoma.
I got Cali.
Okay, Jim's out.
Okay.
What do you
Shit.
think? You said Arkansas?
No,
He said
Jacob
Arkansas.
said Arkansas.
So
I said
Jacob's the
Oklahoma.
Why don't you
closest
just tell us the
geographically.
state?
Maryland.
Like Tennessee.
Shut
oh,
up.
Maryland.
It was Maryland.
Wow, y'all said
Yeah.
Maine.
Jesus, John
you should've
Denver.
Stuck with Maine.
Maryland.
Are you double checking my geography?
He should, because you're
Do you
dumb.
know who you're
You
talking
said you
to?
said Maryland?
Yeah,
Yes.
Arkansas is
Okay.
closer to
Maryland's
Maryland.
that place that I
Arkansas is
didn't know was a
close.
state for sure.
Oh my!
But now I'm aware.
gosh. What? But Washington
I thought it was
D.C.
a
was
region.
definitely a state.
I thought it was a region like New England.
All right, we're bringing back geography questions.
I wasn't second guessing your geography. I
We're
was
just
pulling up a
looking.
map so you could see it while you were
Gotcha.
trying to figure out what it
Thank
was.
you.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Also for my benefit.
Fair enough.
Because he knows I don't know.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Obsessing about Taylor Swift from Swifty.
Swifty.
All right.
Swifty. Gonna get Swifty in here. I'm Mr. Bulldog. Hello, I'm writing to you because I feel ashamed at the level of interest I have in a celebrity's life, specifically Taylor Swift.
Okay.
I really admire her intellect, creativity, values, and the way she's unapologetically herself. I just think she is super cool. I almost wish that I was her or lived her life. During my spare time, I enjoy reading updates about her, viewing her interviews, and being a part of her fan pages on social media. For reference, I'm in my 30s. I really want to hear your insight on this. Is this normal or healthy? I feel ashamed because celebrities must hate having so many eyes on every aspect of their life. Plus, I feel like I'm invading someone's privacy. Also, looking into her life makes me feel poorly about my own life because she seems to have it all. How can I stop myself from comparing? Penny for your thoughts. Thank you. My pronouns are she and her. Swifty.
Have y'all ever felt that way about a celebrity?
Okay, so I have a confession.
This is gonna be.
I
I
knew
knew
it.
this was gonna be good.
I knew it.
This is a safe space.
It is.
This
It's
letter
Michael
was-
Bolton.
this
We're
letter
all
was
here
written
to
by Dan.
I knew it was
support
Bolton. I
you.
knew it was
wrote this
Michael
letter.
Bolton.
No, it is Taylor Swift. Okay, because
Yeah.
Because she's a badass.
it started off
Because
as
she's awesome.
it started
Yeah.
off as a
Awesome.
joke.
Okay.
Okay, because Laura does not like Taylor Swift.
What?
Great.
Laura?
Yes. So
She's too
that,
mainstream.
That made me like
Because
Taylor
she doesn't
Swift.
have an
So
accent.
you were
So, like,
ironically
a
into
German
Taylor
accent.
Swift
Yes,
to annoy
so like,
your girlfriend.
So
Blonde hair
like
and blue
anytime a
eyes, though.
Taylor Swift song came on,
You turn it on.
I turn it on.
Yeah.
Right?
She was rolling her eyes.
And then we were just at the pool, which is why I looked tan. Is 'cause we were
Oh,
at-
okay. I
we
did
were
say
at-
Nick looked tan.
we were at GVR this past weekend.
Oh,
All right.
It was the pool.
nice, nice.
And
It's Green Valley Ranch for
Green
Valley
Jeez,
Ranch.
man.
everyone who doesn't know what that
All
acronym
the
means.
not Las Vegas people.
non-Las Vegas people still don't know what Green Valley Ranch means.
It's a
so it
casino
doesn't
and
matter.
resort. It's fine.
They
have a pool.
There was a song that came on, and Laura asked me, she was like, "Who sings the song?" And I just like, if it's not Taylor Swift, I don't know. To which she was absolutely disgusted by that comment, which just
Laura
made
so
my
much.
day. But like, as I've gotten but now like I do know all of her songs because like I've
Even
had to
folklore?
learn them.
Yeah, just to
to
annoy
keep
Laura.
the gag
Just for
going.
this bit.
God, that's so funny. That is so funny.
So now I do like, and there's like,
That's
you know what?
great.
Blank Space is a good song.
Now you're
I'll
just
say it. I don't care.
Unironically really
Yeah,
into her.
I like it.
That's great.
One of my favorite stories about Taylor Swift was when she first started making music. I had burned a CD of hers, and it was in my, little album book thingy, that zippered shut.
Yes.
And Peter and I had just been dating a couple months, and he lived in Las Vegas. I lived in Arkansas, and he'd fly out, and so
Close
he was
to Maryland.
Yeah, very close to Maryland,
Compared to Oklahoma.
as we've learned, much closer than Oklahoma. So he flew out and he was looking through my CDs. Me and my roommate, we were roommates all 4 years, so he knew her very well too. And he was looking through my CDs and he goes, "Taylor Swift, who's he?"
Nice.
That's like my favorite. I'm like, yeah, no, that's not a man, but that's all right.
I'm loving all the world-class trolling of her dating
Oh,
Travis
Kelce.
Kelce. Because I listen
yeah.
to the New Heights podcast. It's Kelce Brothers. I watch them on YouTube. And it's just really funny because they have a section of their show called No Dumb Questions. And it used to be that mostly people that watch their show was like football fans. And so they'd write in with like pretty complex questions of like,
Oh my
hey, I
God.
noticed that you put an I formation together on this. When would you use this? And like, they'd be like, okay, great. So let's explain how a slant works. And since the Swifties took over, their podcast went from 30,000 in an episode, 30,000 views to 900,000
Oh
in the
my
first
God.
hour.
Wow.
And the no dumb questions section is fan-fucking-tastic.
Oh my
It's like,
god.
so what is a 2-point conversion?
Yeah.
This is great. And they're like, okay. And they're like getting these questions like, what is a
touchdown?
And why is it bad? It sounds
What does
fun.
offside mean?
Yeah, it's so funny. And they're being completely cool with it. Like,
Yeah,
they're just like,
football.
okay, great. And they're always like, they get it. They're like, yep, we know we have a lot of Swifties now. And I'm really excited that you guys are trying out football. We will explain it.
That right there is a perfect segue into answering part of this question.
All right, go for it.
When a celebrity is public, they want you to watch them. They want you to interact with them. They want you to follow them on these platforms that you are following them on.
I'm glad Jacob's validating.
That is the job. That is the entire job.
Yep.
Me as a podcaster, as an E-list celebrity, much, much lower than Taylor Swift. The things that I do publicly, I am doing with the mindset of people are going to take this in and they are going to follow this.
This is for them.
I have no beef at all with people following it. I have no beef at all with people being fans of mine because that is the gig.
I'm glad you're touching on that because I assumed that, but I was like, I don't know. I mean, I assume.
That is the
deal.
entire gig. So now then, if you were looking at things like several years ago when there was a big Sony hack, and all of the nude pictures of various celebrities.
Did they get all the way to E-list? Were there a lot of E-list nudes out there?
Because we're still looking for them.
My nudes are out there, but they're not via a hack.
Okay, I got it.
They're just out there as
just Christmas cards.
That's what he's saying. It's part of the shtick.
It's my email signature.
It's the first thing he sends you whenever your new contact.
If there's stuff out there from that celebrity that they didn't put out there that is clearly, Britney Spears had one years ago when she was getting out of a limousine and accidentally flashed her genitals at paparazzi and people took pictures of it and everything, and that is
different
not
level.
That's obviously not something that they want out there. That is. In some ways, it's an invasion of their privacy and everything else.
Yeah.
Now, it is admittedly a blurry line there. What is public and what is private for especially a major celebrity.
Yeah.
But no, following someone's social media, following their blogs, following all
like
of those
news
things.
articles.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Being a part of their fan websites and everything. I don't think that's bizarre at all. That's just you're a fan of that person. I got zero beef with that.
I want to re-grab that question and kind of throw it back into the room a little bit because I think that we all agree the part of the question that says, "Hey, I feel like doesn't that person want privacy? Am I encroaching?" I think we all agree with Jacob's approach that no, they signed up for this.
The answer is yes. They do want privacy in the parts of their life that are private.
Yeah, as long as you're not going out for that.
Yeah, you're not invading their privacy by simply taking in the media that they put out.
You're right on the main street. You're fine.
Yeah, you're great.
But I think the other part of this is a really interesting question of can we get to a place where we become so fascinated or transfixed on this real life human that it starts to get to a place where that parasocial relationship has formed and our brain is starting to become almost too enmeshed with that person to the place where they're really occupying that part of us that says this is a real relationship. I'm attached to them. I'm aware I'm not crazy. I know that they don't know me, but I'm so invested in them that a real bond is formed and it's become adjacent to obsessive. That's an interesting question.
I mean, a one-way bond between a person and a celebrity definitely happens.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that happens in my weird little world all the time.
Yeah.
That people just tell me. They say, it's weird. I'm meeting you.
Sure.
And I know things about you and you don't know my name.
Right. That's the definition of a parasocial relationship.
Yes.
But for the writer, I think they're bringing up a good question of, can that get so intense that it's not good for me anymore? And that's a good question.
I mean, probably.
Yeah. I mean, I think normal and healthy really is kind of like relative. I mean, only the writer can really answer that. I would suggest maybe taking a little break from maybe a week. I don't know. Just spitballing here.
Okay.
A little. That's my suggestion to start with. Potentially taking a break from following some of these social media things that you are following of hers. Because I hear you say that you enjoy it, but I also hear you saying that it's not the healthiest for you always, because that can be challenging. Taylor Swift is a normal human and has accomplished a lot. She also, in my opinion, kind of creates a very, what do I say? Like, creates an environment that causes, I believe, more attachment than maybe other celebrities, because she creates like insider information. It's like her album will be
You
released.
feel like you know her.
Her album will be released, and if you know where to look in like the words on her like album cover or whatever, it's like, oh, certain letters were capitalized and that spelled the word midnight, and that was the title of her next album that she released at midnight on this date. Like, she is a marketing like mastermind.
Drink more Ovaltine.
Yeah, exactly. all those commercials we memorized as kids, it's coming to life. She's done it. But she does create that almost like you're on the inside group now. You know things.
It's part of
You know?
what she's trying to do.
Which is really interesting, because that's the same phenomena that drives conspiracy theorists.
Interesting.
Yeah, because it's the same thing. Because like with conspiracies, the thing that sucks people in is that feeling that they have that inside knowledge that other people don't have. And that's what makes it so appealing. And people really start digging into that.
And now you want to follow more because you don't want to miss the insider information.
And so you feel like, I've got this that other people don't have.
You feel special.
Exactly.
I'm going to say it out loud because someone listening to this right now is screaming, isn't that the same thing as having a Patreon-only section of a podcast?
You're...
We can edit that out, right?
Yeah, we can cut that out.
I could.
Kind of.
I don't know. I think it's like creating...
Which none of this is wrong.
Well,
I think we're
not
agreeing
at all.
Taylor is very good at this, and therefore the writer, we can understand why the writer would be attached,
But
and
I
that the
think
writer's
Patreon-
not weird for doing that.
Yeah, and Patreon, you've said this is what you get with Patreon. You give us this many dollars, and this is what you get back. But Taylor creates like...
But is the this, in that sentence, this is what you get back, is that just you get to know us a little bit differently?
Which I think
not
is
even
fine.
better.
Yeah.
No, I think it's all fine.
No,
I don't have an issue with any of it.
And I think you're right.
Yeah, I mean, part of that is definitely like you're going to hear us talk about things in a more casual way.
Right.
You're not going to hear us talk about necessarily therapy stuff. You're going to get to know us a little more personally.
So what I'm really hearing you say is
Patreon.com/therapy.
we need to come up with a conspiracy.
Yes.
So, okay,
If we want listeners, we need to come up with some sort of conspiracy.
Yeah.
Let
And
me
we need to
throw
call
some
it a
insight on this.
conspiracy.
A conspiracy.
Yeah.
One of those. I think so. The first thing
we
I want to
make
just say to the
merch?
writer here:
Con has negative connotations.
That's right.
con, pro-spiracy,
Conspiracy.
friend-spiracy. You're part of it now.
Conspiracy.
There it is. Here's one thing I want to say to the writer is that I like that you're asking these questions, because on one hand, I can absolutely show you some examples in my mind of where I do think we can get unhealthily preoccupied with this kind of thing.
It's pronounced conget, but
There
go
it
on.
is. The other side, one of my favorite things about modern entertainment to me is the reality of niche entertainment and parasocial relationships. I am much more interested in some of my favorite podcasts that are like low-level stuff. So like I have a parasocial relationship I could talk about. Hank
Ooh.
Green.
Oh, I love him.
So Hank and John Green are famous YouTubers. They're brothers.
Okay.
They're
I
middle-aged
follow them
now.
on Instagram.
Oh, yeah, I
Hank,
love 'em.
I do. Not,
So,
I didn't know he had a brother.
The
Yeah.
brothers were some of the first big YouTubers. They had an original channel called Vlog Brothers or Brotherhood 2.0, in which they sent themselves video letters to each other from across the country. They were brothers, they were adults, never had a strong relationship, and so this was their way to connect, and they let the world watch them connect. The world fell in love with them. They became this really big thing. The younger brother, Hank Green, started a YouTube empire that created Crash Course, SciShow. He's everywhere. He's an educator and entertainer. He's wonderful.
It's like Bill Nye.
They also started VidCon and started empowering other YouTube creators and launched a bunch of channels. John Green became famous in his own right by writing several best-selling books like Searching for Alaska, The Fault in Our Stars, Paper Towns, that became movies.
I didn't know they were related.
Yeah.
Wow.
In no way does John need Hank, and in no way does Hank need John. But together, they have been nonstop creating content. They still do their Vlog Brothers every week, 2 episodes a week.
Oh, I didn't
They
know
also
that
have a
was-
podcast called Dear Hank and John.
Oh.
They have all of their other creative and educational projects. I really like these 2 men.
Yeah.
And the nature of the way they do their show is in no way, shape, or form are we professional entertainers. We are nerds, and we like justice and good things. And so the nerd fighters, which is the community that surrounds them in the same way we have TheraPals, I'm a nerd fighter. And like, we really like them. Hank was diagnosed with cancer earlier this year. It made national headlines because he's a very prominent science educator. I fucking wept when I saw that. It broke me. I couldn't finish the video. I saw the title, I've Got Cancer. And I just saw the thing and I just started crying for this man I have never met in my life, does not know I exist, could die tomorrow. And like, it will not affect me except that I will not find some YouTube videos in the future that I would have liked or whatever. But I know his children's names. I know their parents' names.
like
I have
Kennedy got
supported
shot.
they have a charity called the Project for Awesome. I've contributed money for their project to like help women's health care in Lebanon. Like, I feel so fucking invested in what these guys do. I root for John's favorite soccer team.
Did you learn where Lebanon is?
No, I believe it's in not
Do you know what
America.
their
You mean the
football
one piece
team
of
is called?
information that would be useful?
Yes.
So like, I literally am so invested in these 2 guys, and I felt broken for Hank. I felt broken for his brother John. I felt broken for his children. And like, that was an interesting moment for me. And, you know, part of me thinking, oh my goodness, I can't believe, I feel so silly. This man doesn't know who I am. But he's a real human being who I genuinely enjoy and respect.
Well,
And I like
you can say
him.
it simpler than that. He's a real human being that you care for.
That's
Yeah.
it. And I'm allowed to.
Yeah.
And that's one of my favorite things about the era we exist in of media and entertainment. I get to pick what kind of media I'm into. I don't just only get to pick between Bruce Willis and Jackie Chan. Like, I can say, no, I don't care about any of that bullshit that's super popular. I care about this cool little niche thing.
What year do you think it is?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm comparing that the modern time I get to select, and I get to invest myself in it and put money
As far
into
as
it
the
and choose my
algorithm
media.
lets you.
And I think that's similar to what happens here. I think that we've had listeners for years, and when I recorded my 300th episode reflection, one of the things I thought about was how this show would not have continued had we not met listeners.
Yeah.
Because once we met them, I don't know, I won't speak for Nick, but for me, that's when it turned into, oh, well, we need to record this week because so-and-so
Just relying
was
on-
telling,
put a
they're
face to
waiting
the
for
listener.
this. We can't let down so-and-so.
Yeah.
And then it was like, well, we got to keep going. And then I get that. There are people that, I mean, our show is not worth any of the dollars that people contribute to it.
Agreed.
It's true. They contribute to it because they're like, look, I like what you folks do.
Patreon.com/therapy.
And there's been a lot of folks that have told us, hey, I support you. There are folks that do not even listen to this show anymore, and they still contribute on Patreon.
Aw.
And I've spoken to them and said, hey, you don't listen anymore, do you? And they're like, no. And I'm like, okay, just so you know, you're still a patron. You might want to kill that. And they're like, oh, no, I'll be supporting forever. And I'm like, oh, well, I feel funny about that. And they're like, don't. I care about you, and I want your work to continue, and I will contribute.
That's really cool.
And it's like, they're just like, you're my friend. Like it or not, you're my friend.
Yeah.
And like, I believe in that. So the
And
two
to
hands.
those people, I would like to say preachingfun.com.
There you go. If you're giving it away. If you're just giving it away, come on over. So like, when I compare those two hands to the writer, on that one hand, I think the parasocial relationship is legitimate. I don't have a lot of scorn for it. However, the other hand says that any amount of content or interest can become obsessive to the point that it's bad.
Mm-hmm.
I've got patients that are obsessively into Donald Trump. I've got patients that are obsessively into sports.
Yeah.
And it's like overwhelming. I've got a guy, let's broaden that. I've had patients who have called me devastated and deeply experiencing a mental crisis because there was an administrative change in their favorite sports team. And they know every single person in that building by name because they listen to the podcast, read the blog, read the Twitter. They're all over it. And that's a shakeup to them of
They know the second
gigantic
vice
proportion.
president of media relations.
Yes, they know the nutritionist.
Yeah.
They know what the guys got for breakfast.
They know what the team therapist's name is.
That's
Jimmy
not weird.
Jobin.
That's fuck you, Whitney.
Definitely not.
Oh, too soon. Anyway, Ryder, I'll finish up my rant. But my point is just I want to validate you. I don't think that is weird, but I really agree with Whitney's point that a detox that kind of disencoils us from this content might really be helpful, just to continue to not too much enmesh ourselves and get some fresh water.
And also, what I like about that idea too is I think, like Whitney suggested, a week, right?
Yeah.
At the end of that week, I think a lot of your questions that you just asked us are going to get answered.
Yeah.
Right.
You're gonna know at the end of that week or 4 days in or whatever it is, the like, is this a healthy thing? Is this am I kind of fixating on this? You don't need us to tell you, because if you say I'm gonna not follow Taylor Swift on social media, you'll mute Taylor Swift for a week on social media. I'm not going to go to these other the fan sites and everything. I'm not going to do that for a week. You're going to know quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I need to go. I need to go to this fan site.
Yeah. How often is
And,
that?
and there's going to be habit.
Yeah.
There's going to be just the habit of like, well, I open up my iPad and I go check out the site. Well, that week you can't do that. So, part of that's just going to be breaking the habit, and that's fine. But, there is going to be a couple of days in where you go, oh, I really, really want to check out this fan site, or I'm okay. I'm okay not checking out this fan site. And at the end of it, you get back into it and you feel better about it. You feel like, okay, this is a healthy outlet for me.
Detox.
Well, the writer talks about comparing herself.
Mm-hmm. I was going to touch on. I'm waiting for Nick
because,
to see what he says.
Well, because that's a bad idea just in general to compare yourself to other people on any kind of social media. But then to compare yourself to somebody who is famous at that level is really not a good idea, because the people that are at that level are at that level because they're outliers.
Yeah.
She's that famous because what she does is so different in whatever way. And you can argue, whether or not she should be famous or not. But in my opinion, I think she should be. But
she's amazing.
Because she's amazing. No, but like it's almost kind of like, like if like a lobster comparing themselves to a blue lobster. It's like, well, yeah, the blue lobsters incredibly rare. It's like one out of every 100,000 or something they turn out blue. So why compare yourself to sea blueberries?
Blueberry. It's Halloween.
Why compare yourself to an outlier?
Right.
Like, I think that's kind of the main point.
There's also any celebrity, anyone that you've ever heard of. They are disclosing parts of their life to you, and they aren't disclosing parts of their life to you. You are touching
on exactly where I was about to
go.
So
you are comparing yourself now to the best parts of a celebrity. You are comparing are comparing yourself to the parts of a celebrity that they say, this is the part of me that I want to be public. This is the part of me that I want millions of people to take in and look at me and think about when they think of me.
Right. And we've talked in the past about, like, you're comparing your everyday life to somebody else's highlight reel.
Right.
When you're talking to a celebrity, what you're really doing is you're comparing your life to a highlight reel of a highlight reel.
Right. So, like, Taylor Swift has been at a lot of football games lately. She's been going.
Oh, really?
She has.
I've heard nothing about this.
Nope, it's been on the news and everything, Nick. You should just pay attention. No, she's gone to a lot of Kansas City Chiefs football games,
Nick?
Because she's dating a football player. She's dating Travis Kelce. If you just say, my Sunday afternoon, I sat around and ate lunch, and then after lunch, I decided I want some Cheetos, and so I ate a bag of Cheetos, versus someone who just went to a professional football game and enjoyed themselves.
Oh, I see what you mean.
That's a tough comparison already.
Right.
And now that someone is in the owner's box. Now that someone has all the amenities that they could want. That someone has a preferential parking spot or a black card that just delivers them to the stadium. And that person is a multi-millionaire recording artist.
Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
This gets to be a really unfair comparison really fast.
The cameras were having a hard time sticking to the players.
I mean, not only that, but like, using your Cheetos example, if I eat Cheetos, nothing happens. If Taylor Swift is seen on video eating Cheetos, now
Their stock
Cheetos
just
are
went up
$40 a
$100.
bag.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
it's like,
You're a taste maker.
Yeah, so it's not a fair comparison because
Not at
you're not
all.
comparing you're not only are you comparing yourself to a celebrity, not only are you comparing yourself to someone who in many cases has a very good life. You're comparing yourself to a part of a person. You're not comparing yourself to an entire person.
Yeah.
This isn't I'm comparing myself to my neighbor who I see every day and interact with every day and know aspects of their life that are less than pleasant. You're comparing yourself to someone who the worst aspects of their life that you know about are they dated a person and they broke up and then wrote a song about that person, and that song sold 8 million albums.
Her worst day was dating Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah.
My worst
Which
day
is not true.
was eating 3-day-old sushi that
Which
I
is
found at the bottom
her
of my
worst day was
fridge.
not dating Jake
Yeah.
Gyllenhaal. Her worst day was a day that we don't fucking know about because she
Right.
doesn't choose to share that with us.
Right.
So yeah, that's one thing I was going to share. I heard this from a family member a while back, and it really stuck with me that anytime you want to compare yourself to someone else's life, and it doesn't have to be a celebrity, it can be anyone's, is that if you're going to compare yourself to their best day, then you have to take all of it. You can't just take Taylor Swift on her best day sitting in the box, watching Travis Kelce chilling or whatever. Like, you have to take all the days, the days where she struggled with the eating disorder, where she was like getting tons of hate and like criticism. Like, can you take that also?
Yeah.
And that's
on
probably
stage with Kanye.
yeah, exactly. And we can't even, that's probably still not even her worst day.
No,
That's just
it
what we know
definitely
about.
isn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that really stuck with me. It's like, even normal people, your neighbor, if you
Yeah.
are feeling like, wow, they just got a new car, or they just did whatever, like got an upgrade to their home, and you're like, wow, I would love that. It's like, really, do you really want that? Like, do you really want exactly whatever their life is?
I have a neighbor who has health problems. I have a close neighbor that has health problems, and so right there you say, well, I don't want to identify with that. I don't want, because I don't have health problems. That seems like a rough way to live your life. You're living your life with health problems. Well, I don't want to live my life with health problems. That neighbor also outright owns her house.
Right.
It's pretty nice.
You say,
Pros and
well, I
cons.
would like to outright own my house. I wouldn't like to have a mortgage payment every month. I wouldn't like to pay rent every month. That sure would be nice.
Yeah.
So it's just in that lens of how you look at that person.
Yeah.
If you're looking at one aspect of that person, holy shit, I'm so jealous of this person. They outright own their home.
Yeah.
They don't have a mortgage. They're not paying rent. They're not nothing. They just don't have a house bill every month. That's fucking awesome. Yeah. That person also has severe health issues.
Right.
Goo.
How do we stop ourselves from comparing?
So that's the last note I had on this whole topic was, maybe while you take that break, that 1 week break I suggested, if you choose to do so, maybe spend some time doing a gratitude journal and just reminding yourself, that helps me so much, because we all get caught up in that comparison circle, loop, hole, whatever you want to call it. Taking some time and really feeling thankful for the most basic shit going on in your world.
Yeah.
Like that you even have a place to live, whether you're renting, whether you own, doesn't matter. Can you afford your rent? Do you have a person that loves you? Do you have family that loves you? Do you have an animal that loves you? Like, whatever it is, just take some time and every day write down at least 1 to 3 things. I usually try and do 3, but 1 to 3 things that you really feel grateful for. And taking that break from the Taylor Swift inundation of information.
I like that.
Yeah. So that's the last thing I was just going to share.
Such an interesting part of our species that we do this. Like, whether you're a princess or a queen or a movie star or a singer, we need a royalty. We need a thing to look at.
Strive after.
And there's an objectification to that. There's a connection to that. I remember when Princess Diana died, my mother was a wreck. I'm like, Mom, we're not even English. Like, but you are broken. Like, this woman was your best friend. She's like, I just relate to her and like all these things. Like, I really felt connected to her. And like, I don't think that's weird at all. And so when the writer talks about this, I want to like normalize that.
Yeah.
While also respecting that the unhealthy comparison is something we're all capable of doing.
Yeah.
It's up to us to realize this is subtracting from me now. I'm looking through the window into the queen's life and noticing the level that she lives at. I'm looking at the Elon Musk, the Bezos, the literal Taylor Swift, who's goddess of our age, and I am feeling so much less than. and I'm feeling like I'm so invested. I need to see her life so my life has meaning. Maybe Whitney, your answer of a detox, I think, is really on the money.
I like that a lot.
That's the move.
I think that not only will that be good for you, I think that will answer a lot of questions that you have.
Yeah.
I would recommend, who do we recommend instead of Taylor Swift? If you need to take a break and obsess over somebody else for a while that's not Taylor Swift.
Princess Diana.
Who needs
So
some
we're just
attention?
projecting onto
I
someone.
was thinking of
here.
a living person.
Pretend that Princess Diana is living.
Oh, the narrative therapy coming back.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, let's do that. Maybe you do a historical deep dive into another
Britney
person.
Spears.
Britney Spears needs some
Let's
love,
bring
honestly.
her back.
Yeah.
Bring her back.
Leave Britney alone.
Leave Britney alone. Leave Britney alone.
That person ended up being right.
We made fun of
Everybody
her.
shit on this guy. He was right.
Girl.
I don't know, but
Yeah.
that person was right. Anyway, good question, writer, and glad to get the chance to talk a little bit about parasocial relationships because,
Yeah.
again, I relate to it. I think it's a good thing.
We're in the age of the influencer.
You know, and this actually really quick pit stop on something Jacob said a really long time ago, years ago.
Fuck you,
Do you
Jim.
remember?
Yeah, that was a quote.
that.
Quote
Yeah.
the
It was
Raven.
that.
Fuck you, Jim. But no, there was a question we had years ago that was asking. The person was saying, you know, when is it too much? When am I too much pursuing a celebrity or a person who has some kind of public face, even a podcaster, to the point where it's no longer appropriate? Like, am I starting to cross boundaries?
Okay.
And Jacob, I remember your answer was
There's not a chance in hell I remember saying this.
No, not at
What
all.
is
That's
it?
why
What's
I'm
your
here.
answer now, Jacob?
I have no idea.
Jacob's answer was a metaphor of Main Street and side streets. Like, yep, if you're out on the main road and you're seeing the front of my house as I have decorated it, you're welcome to be on the main street. You're welcome to see the front of my house as I decorated it. If you start coming up to my windows and now you're on my metaphorical property and you're trying to see into areas that are not prepared for you and are not for you, you're encroaching. And that's too far.
It's pretty
And
good.
so he's
That's
talking
pretty good.
about
Life
pretty
coach
good.
Jacob.
any level of celebrity. There it is. He's getting doubles. He's dabbing.
I missed the first one. I ran to the
You
bathroom.
dropped it in the patient.
There it is.
There it is. We're just getting life coached.
Jacob just life coached himself.
It was
there.
good.
Damn.
Past
that
Jacob.
was meta.
Past Jacob
Yeah.
reached out to present Jacob.
And not Facebook.
He just
Meta.
Marty
Yeah.
McFly'd
Good
that
job,
shit.
Jacob.
So yeah, I remember his example was, you know, whether it's an A-list or an E-list, even if it's a podcast, access the
Pod
stuff
therapy.
that they have designed for you.
Yeah.
That's fine. But, you know, don't go around the side of their metaphorical house and try to look in the windows because now you're frightening them. Now it's too much. That's not where you're welcome. That's not where you're invited. That's for their families. That's for their
You
small
know
friendships.
where that line is.
Everybody can sense it. Yeah.
You know the line of here's the material that
people
that person
do.
put out,
Right.
and here's the material that was
You had to dig
kind of
up.
taken.
I remember seeing a clip of Justin Bieber who was trying to walk back to his
Window.
like New York building, and his bodyguard was there and stuff. And there were some girls standing on the sidewalk, standing in front of the door to his building. And he was, you know, his bodyguard got in between him and them.
Yeah.
And the girls were, you know, being proper, but they're like, Justin. And he went up to them and very sincerely, this is a video, a phone video that one of the girls took, very sincerely walks up to them and says, look,
I feel like this is about to make me like Justin Bieber a lot.
yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah.
He says, this is my home.
Yeah.
I live here. This is not for you. Thank you so much for appreciating my art. Please continue to appreciate my art, but this is my home. And that you have a home that you need to feel safe in.
That's
your
it.
home. And I don't feel safe. This makes me feel unsafe. Can I ask you, please? And they were like, okay. And they were like, can I give you a hug?
No.
And he said, no. Again, no.
Can't reinforce.
You're making me feel unsafe.
Next time you come to my concert and you're there at the meet and greet and everything,
Yep.
then we can talk about a hug.
That's where
We could talk about an autograph. We could talk about all those things. That's it.
That's exactly what he said.
Today's.
Said, I'll sign those bad boys at the concert in the titty signing line.
Yeah.
And you got to pay $10.
You got to
That's-
pay for the.
per titty.
That's how I met Whitney. When she
At
signed
the
my
titty
titties.
signing line?
Tell me
Yeah. At the book signing?
Yeah.
At the Dad Vice book
That's
titty
it.
signing?
I'm here, guys.
Whitney was like, I'm going to sign some titties one way or
I'm here
another.
to sign titty. I didn't even write this book,
I'm
but I'm here to sign
here.
this.
I'm here to chew
Show me the
bubblegum and sign
titties.
titties.
Also,
I'm
if you
all
come
out
to
of bubble
Scoop
gum.
Fest this in 2024, Whitney will be there signing titties.
I
That's
will.
right.
I'm
She
not
will
gonna
sign
lie. I'll do
titties.
them.
With washable marker. We're not monsters.
What?
Sharpie.
I'm not doing
I'm here
henna
for the
tattoos on
tat.
titties.
The tat.
You want the tats?
The tats.
Whitney will be there with her tattoo,
tattoo gun.
They have
Tattooing her name
they have
upon
the
your
portable
chest.
ones, the little ones
Yeah?
without the cords.
Sure.
So, yeah,
Ooh,
I'll
there you
be there.
Man, what if that thing dies like mid-titty?
It's
though?
not. It's
That's
not.
good. Solar powered? Is that?
That's
Why
it.
are you talking this like you've done this before?
Yeah, I know.
I
you're
have
really
one
confident.
tattoo that
What?
I got in February, my first one and my only one.
Oh
And
my
it was done with
God.
a little handheld.
Can I guess what it is?
Sure.
Is it Chinese for water or something?
Yes.
Yeah.
No,
I was
going
gonna guess the Raiders logo.
That feels right.
So it's one of us is
close.
right. One of us
Is it the clown
Peter's
from
a
It?
Chiefs fan, so he would love that.
Yeah, yeah.
He would love a Raiders tattoo.
You're touching the back of your neck. Is
Yes,
that where it is?
yes.
Okay, what is it?
I think it's the Darwin fish.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
I think it's the Jesus fish with legs.
No,
That
I
would
think
be
it's
on
the
my
coexist
wrist.
thing. I think it's coexist.
It's coexist
Yeah,
with
yeah,
all the different
yeah,
fonts.
that's what it is.
Yeah.
100%. She's catching that fad at the peak of
I
its
want to
scope.
hear what people guess in Patreon now.
Oh, you know what?
there it
Don't
goes.
don't
Yep.
tell us.
I'm not going to tell
right.
you.
All right,
Don't
next
tell
week
us.
Next week,
it'll
I'll
be
reveal.
revealed.
Yeah. let's
In the
do that.
Discord of this episode, share
Yeah.
your love languages and your best guess for Whitney's
Neck tattoo.
And it's a throat tat, just so you know. It's
Right on.
under her chin.
It's a Mike Tyson style face tattoo.
Yeah. I never noticed it because she wears her hair as a bonnet.
It's in
tied
white- it's in
underneath
white
it.
ink.
Yeah. That's what it's glow in the dark. That black light that we installed is really helping. We're at the end of the show, and we just want to remind you, you can go to patreon.com/therapy. You can catch the extended show ad-free a day early. Enjoy the live chat Discord community and our weekly deep dives, interviews, skill shares, research roundups, and rants, all at patreon.com/therapy. We've got some new friends to the bunch. Who joined us there, Nick?
Yay.
Yeah, we got Rochelle Rakowski.
Feels
Woohoo.
right. New Therapod. Thank you so much, Rochelle. I think that's Rachel, buddy.
Wait.
That's
definitely is
definitely
not.
Rachel. Here's
That's
the name.
Rachel.
That's 100%
That's Rachel?
Yeah.
What do you think Rochelle is?
No, I went to high school with a girl that spelled it that way.
What?
Yeah, she's an idiot. Also, they don't tell you how to say things in Iowa.
That's
Rochelle
Rachel.
is
Okay, why the
ROCHELLE.
fuck am I doing the names then? Because every fucking week we go through this.
That's why we do it.
No, that's not how it's pronounced.
I love it.
That's not how it's pronounced.
Favorite
no,
part of the
you're not
show.
doing it.
Thank you to our Thera partners, Dirty B, Myra,
That's
and
not
Pickett.
enough. That's not how you
And
pronounce
we
it.
want to thank our
No,
bosses, the
that's not how you
mysterious
do
and
it.
shrouded Illumina. Oh, somebody's here.
Yeah, nobody cares.
Oh, Thera producers. Thank you, Jake Schneider, Robert Brownie Jr. Mint, Smitty Scoop, Ben Dawn, Judy Schneider, Kayla Lansbury, Mrs. and Mr. Hot Dog Scoop, Malia, Leon Kassab, Mason Miller, Richard Macy, Carolyn Albert, Kevin Chamberlain, Tess Miller, Sammy Scoop, Ben Stanley Slap in Your Face, Sarah Smith, Adam Hathaway, Byler T, University Jeff, Mike Helm, Paris, Samantha Cohn, Darren Cunningham, Lib, Team Monaco, Thunder, Cougar, Falcon Scoop, Matt and Lisa Tangeman, Heyo, Oscar Swanrose, A Sunny Boy, Slurpy Kaye, motherfucker, Sandra McWaffle, Dan Martin, who I think I beat in fantasy football this week. I'll have to double check. And Hannah Marie.
And if
Pronounced
you'd like
Marie.
It's
Pronounced fantasy football.
Mary.
Hannah Mary.
it's Hannah.
Hannah.
If you'd like to hear this episode uncut
Shanana.
and unedited
You don't trust me.
and enjoy our spontaneous side projects, go to patreon.com/therapy. And thank you for supporting mental health.
That's all the time we got for this week's session. We want to thank our landlords, Matt Mattingly's Ice Cream Social Podcast. And thanks to those of you who contributed to the show today. We really appreciate it. Remember, pod therapy isn't something to keep all to yourself. Share the episode with the world. Tag us on the socials when you do. It's at PodTherapyGuys on Twitter and Instagram, /PodTherapy on Facebook. And don't forget about all those extra goodies at patreon.com/therapy.
And if you want to submit a question to the show, ask anonymously at podtherapy.net or email us at podtherapyguys@gmail.com. I'm Nick Tangeman.
I'm Whitney.
I'm Jim.
Thanks, and we'll see you for your appointment next week.
Bow, bow, bow.
Do we have a third question?
We do.
All right, let's hear it.
This is going to be first one to get one wrong loses.
Ooh, spelling bee.
So
rules.
last one. Yeah,
To
spelling.
the death.
There you go.
Do we need to establish an order first?
Yes.
All right. How
Jim's
do we establish the
alphabetical.
order?
Jim's going to go first because he'll only get one turn.
Okay.
Fair.